Welcome to Mets Baseball 85. Brought to you by Busch Beer, the beer with a taste as smooth as its name. By Nissan, builders of technologically advanced cars and trucks for over 50 years. For the driver who demands quality, the name is Nissan. By Manufacturers Hanover, the financial source worldwide. By RC Cola, people go out of their way for the taste of RC. And by the Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages, published by New Jersey Bell. Live from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri, it's Mets Baseball 85, as tonight, the Mets take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Pitching for the Mets tonight, right-hander Ron Darling, who is 16-5 with a 2.94 ERA. And going for the Cardinals, it's left-hander John Tudor, 20-8 with an ERA of 2.04.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm Ralph Kiner, along with Jim McCarver and Steve Zabriskie, and it's showdown time in the Show Me State as the Mets take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Their final 3 games of the year. The Cardinals have dominated the series so far.
Well, the Cardinals have won 9 of the 15 meetings so far this year, and they've won 5 in a row here at Busch Stadium. The Mets are 1-5 against St. Louis. I'll tell you what, Ralph, you can throw all the stats heretofore right away tonight, because with this 3-game series, the Mets really realize where they have to go. They have to win 3 in a row. It's that simple.
And it's also a very cool evening here in St. Louis. Not good for the hitters, good for the pitchers. We have a capacity crowd. Everybody is up for this outstanding series starting here tonight. And as they explained on the opening, Whitey Herzog, the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals, not in the tough position that Davey Johnson is with the New York Mets.
I thought it was interesting that Whitey said he did not want to put John Tudor head-to-head to Dwight Gooden. He was quite candid about that, and that's the reason John Tudor is starting tonight.
And now this message from Busch Beer. And on the mound for the St. Louis Cardinals, John Tudor with a record of 20-8. He is 3-1 against the Mets this year. He has an earned run average of 2.04. He has started 34 games. He has had 13 complete games, 10 of them shutouts. He has worked 256 innings, giving up 199 hits, walking 46, and striking out 160.
And the lineup for the Mets in this key game: Mookie Wilson leading off and playing center field. Second baseman Wally Backman, probably batting right-handed against John Tudor. He'll bat second. Keith Hernandez at first, the ex-Cardinal batting third. Gary Carter, what a September he had. He's batting fourth and catching. Right fielder Darryl Strawberry batting fifth. George Foster in left will hit sixth. Ray Knight, the third baseman, batting seventh. Rafael Santana, the shortstop, hitting eighth, and Ron Darling on the mound.
And John Tudor all set to pitch to Mookie Wilson, hitting at 275. 5 home runs, 24 RBIs. Tudor has won 19 of his last 20 ball games. And here's the pitch. It's strike one. Home plate umpire is Dutch Renner. The umpire at first base, Lee Wire. The umpire at second base, Ed Montague. And Fred Brocklander, the umpire at third. And the fastball very high, and the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Tudor had a record of 1-7 back on May 29th. And the fastball is fouled. So Mookie with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mookie hitting just .222 against Cardinal pitching this year with 12 base hits, one of them a home run. On deck batter Wally Backman. And the fastball hit off the hands, and the count stays at 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Tim Tudor, an in-and-out pitcher.
He is probably the most effective in-and-out pitcher in the National League right now. He's won 19 out of his last 20. And everybody talking about keeping the ball down, that doesn't concern John Tudor. Keeping it in and out, and you'll see him work the inside portion of the plate as he just jammed Mookie Wilson to break his bat. Mookie over for more wood. And you'll see him work away. It's just a matter, if you're going to guess with him, you have to guess inside and outside, not up and down.
The one loss that he has had in his last 20 decisions was a 3-0 loss to Valenzuela of the Dodgers, so he was shut out in that one loss.
That was back on July 20th in Los Angeles. He has been remarkable.
And the fastball just inside the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tudor last year pitched for the Pittsburgh Pirates, had a record of 12-11. And he goes outside, and the ball grounded out to Ozzie Smith. One away. Ozzie Smith, who has made only 14 errors this year, picking up the first assist of the ball game.
And a breaking ball. First breaking ball that Tudor has thrown in the sure hands of Ozzie Smith, and a nice throw.
So one away, and Wally Backman will now bat. And Wally, as you thought, hitting for the right-hand side. For a while, he experimented hitting left-handed against left-hand pitching. Backman hitting .279 for the year with 1 home run and 32 RBIs. And there's the off-speed pitch. Very fine changeup by John Tudor.
Vince Coleman in left field straight away. Willie McGee toward right center, and Van Slyke very shallow in right field.
On deck batter Keith Hernandez. He'll get a greeting when he comes up.
He'll get a reaction, I'm sure of that.
And Backman fouls it off the end of the bat, and the count goes to strike 2. Tudor, with a record of 1-7, got a call from a high school teammate, Dave Betancourt. Said Betancourt, as you look at Davey Johnson, said he was not doing the same thing he did in high school when he was pitching. He adjusted his motion and then came back and started winning all those ball games. And this ball fouled away. Tudor from Peabody High School in Massachusetts. 2 strikes the count as Whitey Herzog looks on. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wally Backman hitting just 186 against Cardinal pitching this year. The Mets as a team hitting 256. And the fastball in the count 2-2. The Cardinals as a team leading the National League in hitting with a team average of 265. And of course the Cardinals leading all baseball in stolen bases.
Saw John Tudor blowing on his hand to get some warmth into that hand. Extremely cold here tonight.
And this one popped up to the second base side. Tommy Herr is there. So 2 up and 2 down. That'll bring up Keith Hernandez, and listen to this reaction. Hernandez, a great player for the St. Louis Cardinals, an MVP for the Cardinals. Also led the National League while playing for the Cardinals, and now being greeted with this kind of a greeting.
Most valuable player for the Cardinals back in 1979 when he shared the MVP award with Willie Stargell of the Pirates.
Talking to Keith before the ball game, someone mentioned the fact that he ought to get a little bit of a reaction here. He says, I'm ready for it. Hernandez hitting .301, takes the first pitch, a breaking ball. Keith with 10 home runs, 87 runs batted in. And the fastball just low on the count. 2 balls, no strikes. On deck batter Gary Carter. 2-0 the count as Tudor decides he didn't want to throw that one. It's a cool evening here, but Keith with no long sleeve shirt on. He'll generate his own heat, and that ball fouled away, so the count of 2 balls and 1 strike. Keith hitting just .250 against the Cardinals this year with 15 base hits. He's driven in 6 runs, but has not had a home run against St. Louis pitching. And the fastball again low, and that puts the count at 3-1.
See, if Tudor misses, he's not going to miss by much. He does not throw the ball down the middle of the plate, and that's been the reason for his success this year. In and out.
And again, it's low, and Hernandez becomes the first base runner. That'll bring up Gary Carter.
Ralph, I don't know if you got the feeling, but it looked like he was very, very careful, working Hernandez very carefully. And you wouldn't ordinarily do that with Gary Carter coming up, as hot as Carter's been.
Carter in September hitting .343 with 13 home runs and 34 runs batted in. Overall hitting .284, the club leader in home runs with 32, and also in runs batted in with 98. I got the same feeling, Tim. It looked like he was trying to pitch around him.
Uh-huh. You know that wasn't the case, but it certainly appeared to be so.
Carter hits it right back to Tommy Herr at second base, and that'll do it. So a walk and one man left to score at the end of 1/2 inning. The Mets nothing, the Cardinals coming up. Now here's a word from Nissan. Well, we're going to the bottom half of the first. Ron Darling on the mound for the New York Mets. Ron with a record of 16-5. He's 1-0 against the Cardinals this year. Earned run average of 2.94. He has had 33 game starts, 4 complete games, 2 of them shutouts. He has worked 233 innings, given up 203 hits. He has walked 111 and struck out 159.
And the lineup for the speedy Cardinals. 307 stolen bases on the year. Leading off, Vince Coleman, who leads the National League with 109 stolen bases. Center fielder Willie McGee, the league leader in batting second. Tommy Herr, the second baseman. What a year he has had. He's batting third. Catcher Darrell Porter batting fourth. Right fielder Andy Van Slyke will hit fifth. Harry Pendleton, who is, after a disastrous 4-month start, really picked up in September and has been hitting the ball well, batting sixth. First baseman and ex-Met Mike Jorgensen will hit seventh. Ozzie Smith, the shortstop, who is having his finest offensive year, batting eighth. And John Tudor on the mound, of course, will bat ninth.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Mets and WOR-TV, and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets and WOR-TV is prohibited. So Vince Coleman, the leadoff. Vince hitting at .265 for the year, 1 home run, 36 runs batted in. And he has had some sort of year as a rookie. Coleman with 109 stolen bases, an all-time rookie record. He has been caught 25 times, and his stolen base percentage is outstanding, as it is at 81. And the first pitch by Darling, a ball.
Tell you what has also been outstanding, the way that Vince Coleman has learned to take early in the count. He'll take a strike here against Darling.
And Darling just does miss again in the count, 2 balls, no strikes.
You got to stay all hitters, but particularly this Cardinal ball club. They lead the National League in walks. They're a very selective ball club. And even when you're ahead of them, the danger of the infield hit is always prevalent. 25% of Coleman's hits are infield hits.
And there is ball 3. They lead the National League in runs scored with 728. The Mets are second. They have scored an average of 4.66 runs a ball game. The Mets have scored an average of 4.3 runs a ball game with 673. And a strike call.
I would be a bit surprised to see him take up the 3-2. Darling has had control problems throughout his career, and this year no exception.
On deck batter Willie McGee, and he leads the National League in hitting. And the 3-1 pitch is ball 4. So Coleman on at first base, the one thing the Mets did not want, and it brings up Willie McGee. Have been successful in stolen bases their last 33 times.
Is that something?
Had 33 consecutive stolen bases without a runner being thrown out. So McGee, the league leader, batting at .355, stepping in. He has 10 home runs and 80 runs batted in.
Darling's liable to throw to first 5 times. He has as good a move as any right-hander in the league. Coleman knows that. Now some loose dirt around that first base area. Cardinals did not intentionally put that loose dirt out there, did they, Ralph?
They're certainly not going to slow anything down. Darling has an exceptionally good move to first base. And Carter, very strong arm. But Coleman does not go on the first pitch, and the first pitch is called strike. McGee has hit .386 against the Mets this year with 17 base hits. and one of them a home run. Overall, he has 209 hits. Throw to first base is close. Coleman not with that real good speed getting back. There it is again.
And the throw right there, not only is Darling quick, he usually gives a low throw there. Another one.
Darling has that exceptional move to first base, so the Mets can counter to some degree the stolen base ability of the Cardinals.
Throw again, a very close play at first.
And another one over there as Hernandez digs it out.
Baseball is such a game of establishing, and Ron Darling trying to establish the fact that he will throw to first base and throw over there often. Coleman still having problems with that dirt around first base. Got a trench dug over there.
And Coleman running with the pitch. The ball bounced out to the first base side. Hernandez dives to the bag and beats McGee and gets the out as Coleman goes down to second on the play.
Well, McGee, a little chopper. 18% of McGee's hits have been infield hits. Look how fast he got down there. Hernandez, of course, knows that better than anybody. He was part of this club for a long time. Takes no chances. He realizes he can't beat him with his foot speed, but he can with his body reach.
So it's Coleman at second base and Tommy Herr the batter. Herr hitting at .307 for the year with 8 home runs and a total of 105 runs batted in. Last year he hit .276 with 4 home runs and only 49 runs batted in.
So it's left up to Rafael Santana to hold Coleman close at second base, and if he holds him too close, that's going to open up that left side. Tommy Herr and all of these Cardinals spray hitters for the most part. Very difficult team to defend against.
And the fastball for ball 1. Tommy Herr hitting .371 against the Mets this year with 3 home runs. Coleman, the runner at second base, has been successful, stealing third base 26 out of 31 times. Pace of this ball game very slow at this point, and the breaking ball in for a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's almost like a championship fight when fighters go out there the first 3 rounds and just feel each other out. I think that's what both clubs are doing right now.
There is Darrell Porter, the on-deck batter. Cardinals a tough team at home. They have won 51 and lost only 24. Santana over at second base when the pitch was made. And a break for the Mets that pitch was not hit to the vacated position of the shortstop.
That's probably why Darling threw a ball on that count. He realized it a little bit too late. He should have stepped off. Santana using that daylight play, but the whole left side of the infield was open, and that's what good, speedy base runners do. Now Backman's out of position on the other side.
Cardinals have been successful in 77% of their attempted steals. That is a good percentage. There you see the alignment of the shortstop and second baseman against Coleman. Of course, Santana will move back to a better position. Coleman running, the ball fouled off. So Coleman with a belly slide, but he'll have to go back to second.
When you're a runner with that kind of speed, the third base coach comes into play because it's Hal Lanier who tells him, you're all right, you're all right. Now here's the jump he had, and Herr thankfully fouls it back. Even though the jump that Coleman had was not a good jump at second.
I'd have had him at third base.
He can flat out run the ball, though. Tommy Herr batting from the left side. Coleman doesn't care.
So the count on Tommy Herr, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It's a lot easier for a catcher to throw with a left-handed hitter up there because you don't have that impediment of a right-handed hitter to go through to throw the ball to third base.
And a play on at second. Santana makes the catch and tag, but not in time. You can't believe the bruises that stolen base runners like Coleman get. Her body really gets torn up.
Matter of fact, Maury Wills has told me that the last 3 years that he played, some of which were with the Pittsburgh Pirates, used to sit on a block of ice after a game. Not my idea of a fun night, is it?
No fun at all. 2-2. There goes Coleman again, and this ball is popped up in foul territory. Ray Knight with the play, and he makes a catch, and Coleman, who was already at third when that ball was in the air, had to dive back into second base. So 2 men away, and it will bring up Darrell Porter. Porter hitting .213 with 10 home runs and 35 RBIs.
Ron Darling got his curveball over, and that's been very important for his success so far this season. Has thrown his breaking ball early in the game and early in the count. And you got a good fastball hitter up there now with Van Slyke on deck, so I guess you could expect a lot of curveballs to Darrell Porter.
Porter has only one hit against Met pitching this year. He's 1 for 17, hitting .059. He has not driven in a run against the Mets. And now the threat of Coleman stealing third is not that much of a threat. 2 men away, ground ball hit to the second baseman, Backman, and Backman throws to Darling covering at first as Hernandez moved off the bag to go after that ball. Good play by Darling getting over there, and it'll end the inning. 1 walk and a man left at second. The score at the end of 1. The Mets nothing, the Cardinals nothing. Now here's a word from MasterCard.
Important series here in St. Louis. The whole season in 3 days, and Mets baseball action continues when the Mets take on the Cardinals tomorrow night and Thursday night, 8:30 New York time, live from St. Louis, right here on Channel 9.
And right here on Channel 9, the leadoff batter for the Mets, Darryl Strawberry. Both sides with a base runner, and they both got on base as a result of a walk. Now we go to the top of the second. Strawberry hitting .271 this year. Missed 7 weeks of action. He has 27 home runs. That's a career high. And 74 runs batted in. He's had 1 home run against the St. Louis Cardinals. John Tudor, one of 2 20-game winners on the St. Louis Cardinals. And this one hit through the middle and flagged down by Tudor on an outstanding play. And that ball was ticketed to be a base hit.
It sure was. What a play by Tudor. Great reactions. Watch him get up. That ball on top of him in a hurry, and Tudor with the leaping catch catches it in the web, and if that ball is through, it's a base hit. Some kind of play.
Batting 6, number 15.
So 1 away here in the second, and the batter will be George Foster. Foster batting at .261 for the year with 20 home runs and 74 RBIs. The Mets, for the first time in their history, dating back to 1962, have 3 players with 20 or more home runs: Foster, Strawberry, and Carter. Mets have had 130 home runs this year as a team, their second highest total. The highest total coming in 1962. That was their first year, and they played in the Polo Grounds. 1 strike the count to Foster. And the fastball for a ball. They counted 1 ball and 1 strike. Foster with 3 home runs against the Cardinals, 1 of them off John Tudor. And the off-speed pitch, 2 balls, 1 strike.
He and Strawberry connected back on April 22nd. Darrell's was with 1 aboard. George Foster with nobody on. Those are the only 2 home runs that the Mets have hit off John Tudor all year. Ray Knight, the on-deck batter.
And the fastball is strike. That was the 1 ball game that the Mets beat Tudor. He has a record of 3-1 this year against New York, and lifetime he's 4-2. Fastball hit off the hands to Tommy Herr, the second baseman. 2 men away. There's the action of that outside pitch preceding the pitch inside.
Just froze George Foster, and he hit it on the handle, and a weak grounder to second base.
And it brings...
Tudor is not a hard thrower,
no.
Ralph. As you said, about 86, 87 miles an hour. But you don't have to be a hard thrower when you have that type of action late on your fastball. It kind of jerks the ball.
Sneaky fast with his fastball. He's now pitching to Ray Knight. Knight hitting to .213 for the year with 6 home runs and 36 RBIs. And again, the sinking fastball for ball 1. And it's a line drive into right center field for a base hit. Knight moving around the bag at first base and then holding. And the first hit of the game as Ray Knight singles with 2 men out here in the top of the 2nd inning.
First hit of the ball game right here, and Ray with a rocket to right center. Hits that ball very well. So he's a 2-out base runner.
And Rafael Santana will be the next batter. Rafael hitting .258 for the year, 1 home run, 29 runs batted in. Rafael used to be the property of the St. Louis Cardinals. And it's strike 1 off the fastball. Santana hitting .271 against St. Louis pitching this year with 13 hits. Lee Wire saying something to John Tudor. Time call for Ray Knight. Knight is not a threat to steal. And now inside, outside, inside, outside, inside. You'll see it all night long.
That was like Blanchard and Davis back in '46. Hold inside and outside.
And this one hit off the handle toward Tommy Herr at second. And that'll retire the side. So 1 hit and 1 left. And the score at the end of 1.5. The Mets nothing, the Cardinals nothing. Now here's a word from Manufacturers Hanover. Play-by-play, a man who starred here in St. Louis as a catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, Tim McCarver.
Thanks a lot, Ralph. This ballpark opened back on May 12th, 1966. Since that time, the Cardinals have had 2 world champion representatives in '67 and '82. And they won a pennant in '68. Fastball to Andy Van Slyke's a strike. Andy batting .257 with good punch, 12 home runs. Matter of fact, 40% of his hits have been for extra bases. Split finger fastball is low, 1-1. No score, bottom of the 2nd. Darling, 2-2 lifetime against the Cardinals, and he's 1-0 this year in 3 starts. Swings and misses at the fastball. So it's 1-2 to Andy Van Slyke.
Terry Pendleton, the on-deck batter.
Fastball lined up the middle, base hit, and the first hit for the Cardinals.
Well, for the 2nd inning in a row, and this game only in the 2nd inning, the Cardinals have had their leadoff batter on base. Coleman in the 1st, and now Van Slyke here in the 2nd.
Terry Pendleton, the batter. Nobody out. Van Slyke, a threat to run. He has 34 stolen bases. He's been caught only 5 times. Courtesy toss to first. Those hitters remember, don't you? Don't they?
I'll say they do.
Darling struck out Van Slyke, taking 3 times in the start up at Shea in their last battle. And Pendleton fouls it away. And Darling and Carter tried to come back and throw that cheese by him one more time, and Van Slyke said, no, sir.
Both Coleman and Van Slyke working on the base path out there just off the bag of first base.
Pendleton batting only .239, but he has 69 RBIs. Throw to first. Very close. And Van Slyke leaning on that play.
Pendleton hit him 132 against the Mets this year, and last year he hit 421 against the Mets. Here's a move to first base, and Darling with that quick move, and it's close. Another one over to first base.
0-1 to Terry Pendleton. Nobody out. Just getting started. Bottom of the second inning. No score. Pendleton fouls another one back, so it's 0-2. Pendleton batting 100 points less than last year. He hit 324. There's the ex-Met, Mike Jorgensen, on deck.
Cardinals playing without the services of Jack Clark, their power-hitting right-hand batter. Clark took batting practice early today, but did not swing well. Has a pulled muscle in the rib cage.
Fastball is high, 1-2. He was on the DL for 21 days, and that's when the Cardinals went out to get Cesar Cedeno from the Reds, and man, has he produced.
All he's done is hit .417 in 24 ball games with 5 home runs and 17 RBIs. And there's Jack Clark, Cardinals power hitter.
1-2 pitch. Curveball grounded to second. Backman to Santana, and that's it. Hard slide by Van Slyke. These teams playing for all the marbles. You'll see that throughout the course of this series. 1 out.
Well, look at Clark. I should say, look at Van Slyke as he comes into second base. He's got no idea staying on the bag. He just wants to make sure Santana can't throw the ball to first for the attempted double play, and he went out of his way. You've got to be able to slide and touch the bag to make it legal. He never got close to the bag.
Right.
They can call a double play on that play.
Surely could. Pendleton, a fake break at first as the first pitch to Jorgensen's outside. 1-0 to Mike. Mike batting only .202. But he has had a .398 on-base percentage over the last month, so he's done a fine job getting on base. Split finger fastball is low, 2-0. He won't swing at a ball. Good low fastball hitter.
Originally signed with the Mets, was traded on to Montreal, then played at Texas, came back to the Mets, then went back out again.
Ozzie Smith on deck. There goes Pendleton, swing and a miss. The throw, got him. A perfect throw by Gary Carter gets Terry Pendleton. So the first challenge is answered here at Busch.
And Pendleton off and running. Carter comes out throwing, and he throws a bullet down to Santana, and Santana gets the tag down in time, according to second base umpire Ed Montague. He did look like he was safe.
One of those ball beat the runner calls right there.
That foot got in there just as a tag was made. A close play.
2-2 to Mike Jorgensen. 2 out, nobody on. Boy, Carter got rid of that ball in a hurry. And Jorgensen fouls it away.
If you don't have a catcher that can throw, take a look at what Montreal did. The Cardinals stole 53 bases out of 56 attempts against the Montreal Ball Club this year.
They were caught only 3 times in 56 tries. That, by the way, breaks a streak of 33 consecutive stolen bases, and the check swing is fouled away. Cardinals had stolen 33 straight before Pendleton was caught.
That was their 401st attempt this year, and they've been successful 307 times as Whitey Herzog checks things out.
Just think of that. 401 attempts. Fastball is up and in, 3-2. Another check swing. Saw that fastball up and into Jorgensen. It had to carry you back to May 22nd, 1977, when Mike was beaned by Andy Hassler when he was a member of the Texas Rangers. He draws a 2-out base on balls, the second issued by Darling.
Batting 8.
And the batter's going to be Ozzie Smith.
Shortstop, Ozzie Smith.
Mike had convulsions. They thought he had a blood clot on the brain. Unconscious for 3 or 4 days. He has recovered well to continue his baseball career, and a fine gentleman he is. So is this young man, Ozzie Smith. Ozzie having his most productive year with the bat, batting .276.
He's also productive off the field. He is one of the 10 best dressed men in Southern California.
Curveball down and in. So as far as casual clothes were concerned.
Casual clothes.
Yeah, casual dressing. That list had some clout, too. Johnny Carson was on that list. Grounded. What a play by Backman, and he's going to get him and does. Wally Backman on a diving stop throws out Smith.
Well, Backman playing an outstanding second base for the Mets. And right here, he takes a base hit away from Ozzie Smith and picks up the final out in the inning. That's as far as you can go.
No runs, a hit, and 1 left after 2, no score. Now here's a word from the Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages. St. Louis, Missouri, the temperature right around 36, 37 degrees, and expected to drop a little lower, Ralph.
But to warm up a little bit better tomorrow.
That's right. It'll be warm once this game heats up. He's not done it yet. It's 0-0, and Ron Darling leads off the third, and it's 1-0. Ron with 12 hits and 73 trips. He has 4 doubles to his credit. Fastball right on the corner, 1-1. Fastball is low. So it's 2-1 to Darling. Fly ball deep to right. Van Slyke back in foul territory and makes the catch. So Darling gave it a pretty good ride the other way, but Van Slyke made the catch, and there's 1 away, and the batter Mookie Wilson.
Cardinals have one of the best defensive outfields ever assembled. They have outstanding speed. It's tough to get extra base hits against this outfield.
No tweeners. Long way to roam.
A lot of room.
330 down the lines here at Busch Stadium. 383 to the gaps in left center and right center. 414 straight away. And they can flat cover some territory with Van Slyke, McGee, and Coleman. Mookie Wilson takes a changeup for a strike, 0-1. Mookie grounded to short sharply his first time up. Another strike on the corner.
Mookie thinks that's highway robbery, but Tudor has a degree in criminal justice.
Yeah, that's right. This ball might be a hit. Ozzie Smith got him. What a play by Ozzie Smith.
Well, it's finesse against speed right here. Ozzie jumping up to take the hop and then quickly getting rid of the ball to pick up the very fast Mookie Wilson. Ozzie practices on these high bouncing balls before the ball game. He has a man hit those big high chops. He knows exactly how that ball will bounce.
Mookie got jammed a little bit with that ball, and because of that, he couldn't get out of the box real well. When right-handers are jammed with that ball inside, they don't get out of the box, whereas if they have to reach for the ball, that sends them toward first base. And they get a lot better jump. Here's Backman. Tap toward short again, trying out the wrong guy as Ozzie Smith makes the play. Mets go in order here in the third inning, and after 2.5, no score here in St. Louis. And now here's a word from Busch Beer, made in St. Louis.
Season tickets is 1-800-THE-METS. Don't get shut out for next season. Make your plans today. And also an idea to subscribe to the all-new Mets Inside Pitch. Call now, toll-free 800-845-7726. 12 colorful action-packed issues for only $14.95. Call now toll-free 800-845-2726. Have your Visa or MasterCard ready.
John Tudor leads it off in the bottom of the third. No score. John batting 146, but he has 5 extra base hits. 3 doubles and 2 triples. It's a rare hit for a pitcher. 0-1 is the first pitch, a fastball right in there. Each side with 1 hit. Curveball and a beauty. 0-2 to Tudor. Fastball is high and tight. 1-2. Breaking ball, strike 3. Some kind of curveball there. First strikeout for Darling. And the batter, Vince Coleman.
Tudor shaking his head as he walks away, and this curveball is a big one. Let's take a look at it. Breaking through that strike zone and caught down low by Carter.
Pitcher, when he's hitting and you get a call strike like that, you don't want to complain too much because you want the same pitch.
When you go back out there.
Yeah. Vince Coleman walked, moved to second on the infield out, and was stranded there in the first inning. Vince batting .265. And a bunt. Darling will have to hurry. Got him. 2 out.
This ball club uses this artificial surface as well as you can possibly use it. They try to bunt their way on. They get a lot of infield hits. And right here, the bunt attempt by Coleman, and it took a good quick play by Darling to pick up the out.
Whitey Herzog had the Kansas City Royals from 1976 through 1979. And on that rug in Kansas City, he utilized that speed. Swing and a miss by Willie McGee, 0-1.
McGee a chance to become only the second switch hitter to lead a league in hitting. And there is Whitey Herzog right there. Pete Rose in 1969 led the National League hitting .348. And McGee will lead the National League in hitting, so he'll become the second.
Tap toward first. Hernandez has to hurry. Safe at first base.
Well, there it is again. Typical Cardinal base hit. Tops the ball out. Darling can't catch up with it, so Keith has to take it. And now Darling going to the bag, but McGee just out-legging the backhand toss from Keith Hernandez. McGee with the infield base hit and also a threat to steal.
Cardinals have hit the second fewest home runs as a team in the National League. They have 85 home runs. The Pirates, the lowest, with 73. And the Cardinals, since their history began back in 1876, have led the National League only 5 times in home runs. So they have really never been a power hitting club. Tommy Hurd takes a curveball low, 1-0.
And the old ballpark where they used to play was a good hitter's park. You could hit a lot of home runs there.
310 down the right field line, 354 to right center. And one year they took the screen down.
Stan Musial never led the league in home runs, never won a Triple Crown. One year he hit 39 home runs, but 2 fellows hit 40.
Fastball outside, 2-0. Herb popped to Ray Knight in foul territory his first time up. Two out. McGee at first base. Cardinals now with 2 hits. A throw over, McGee back. McGee has 54 stolen bases, and combined with Vince Coleman, they have stolen more bases than any tandem in the history of the game. And there he goes. Fastball is a ball to throw, safe at second. Stolen base number 55 for Willie McGee, and he's there with 2 out.
And it's 1-1 now on stolen bases for the Cardinals in this game. McGee coming up with a stolen base. Terry Pendleton was thrown out in the second. And there was no contest right here. Let's check out the jump. 1, 2, 3. He only had 3 steps, so he just has that good speed.
It would have taken a perfect throw by Carter to get him. It's 2-1 to Tommy Herr. Tommy with 108 RBIs.
That's one of the reasons why right there.
Curveball tapped foul. 2-2 to Tommy Herr.
Infield hit, a stolen base, and a runner in scoring position.
Willie McGee and Vince Coleman now have stolen 164 bases between them, with Darrell Porter on deck. Darling 16-5, an excellent 2.94 ERA. And a miss. He got him with the fastball. The high rider gets Tommy Herr. For the Cardinals in the third, no runs a hit and one left. They stranded runners in each of the first 3 innings. And after 3, no score. Now here's a word from Sprint. Appropriate, huh? Scoreless ball game after 3 in this most important game and most important series and a most important guy, Steve Zabriskie.
Well, thank you, Tim, and hi, everybody. Keith Hernandez leads it off in the top of the 4th. Gary Carter and Darryl Strawberry to follow. Hernandez walked his first time up and then was erased on a forced play at second, and he takes high ball 1. For a game that has seen it through the first 3 innings, the first 3 innings have taken almost an hour to play. Ball 2. That's sort of indicative of the tension here.
Yeah, I think so. And John Tudor and both John Tudor and Ron Darling have been very tentative out on the mound.
Sort of like nobody wants to be the first to make a mistake. Hernandez skies one, and it's deep to left, but Coleman has room. After he circles it, he makes the catch on the track, and there's one away.
Don't miss the intrigue, the deception, the thirst for power, weekdays at 4 on Dallas, here on Channel 9. Good play by Vince Coleman. Going back for Keith Hernandez, fly ball. Keith really gave that ball a ride the other way, didn't he?
And you usually don't see him hit it that deep the other way. And in this ballpark, that's a long way to the warning track out there. Here's Gary Carter, who grounded into an inning-ending force play in the first, and he grounds one to third. Terry Pendleton with a high throw, but not too high, and 2 away. Tudor now has retired 6 in a row since Ray Knight singled in the second, the only hit the Mets have gotten so far. And here's Darryl Strawberry.
I was talking to Chuck Tanner about John Tudor in Pittsburgh, Steve, and he had a great point. He said, put John Tudor in this ballpark with Ozzie Smith and Willie McGee, 2 prime components behind him, tracking down everything, and that's one of the big reasons that he's having the year that he's having.
Got some people that can catch the ball because he is around the plate so much. He doesn't overpower people. The balls are put in play, and those guys can turn them into outs in a hurry. Ball 1 to Strawberry. And a fastball right in there, 1-1.
He gets a lot of outs like Keith Hernandez out, the deep fly ball. In a lot of ballparks, that spells trouble, but not in this park.
Just missed with the off-speed delivery. 2 balls, 1 strike. Strawberry was robbed of a base hit by John Tudor his first time up, leading off the second inning, when Tudor went high to grab a bouncer and threw him out at first. Another fastball, and it's strike 2. 2-2 now. Tudor is 3-1 this year against the Mets, 4-2 lifetime. But none of the previous starts more important than this one. And I mean, he just did miss. Everybody in the park thought Darryl was out of there.
Little change up, and I mean just outside.
So 3-2 with 2 out. Tudor picks up his first strikeout. And a 1-2-3 inning here in the fourth for Tudor and the Cardinals, still scoreless as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning after this word from Panasonic.
Montreal Expos, and they are hoping, obviously, along with other Met fans, that they come home in a tie with the St. Louis Cardinals. Live from Shea Stadium, right here on your Met station, Channel 9. That game time will be on the air at 8 o'clock Friday night.
Darrell Porter leads it off for the Cardinals in the bottom of the fourth inning, and a curveball is tapped foul outside of first for strike one. Porter grounded to second on a ball that ended the first inning, and Ron Darling, the pitcher, had to cover on the play as Hernandez went for the ball. Another curveball, and it's strike two. And Darling appears to have a good breaking ball so far, and that's a big key for him.
Here we go, loop to loop. I don't think we've seen Darling throw that type of curveball in a while.
No, that ball was a real downer. His curveball usually does not break down quite that much. There's another one, and it's skied to right field. Strawberry, and one away.
Did you see Darrell Porter, number 15? Well, back in after the 61 season, number 15 was traded from this ball club. His name, Joe Cunningham. And the next to wear that number was me.
That is correct.
For about 6 years. Now, Darrell Porter, and the reason I bring that up is Joe Cunningham's mom, Mildred Cunningham, is watching our broadcast tonight in Saddlebrook, New Jersey. And Joe passes his regards along to Mom.
From 115 through another 15.
Yeah.
Here's 18, Andy Van Slyke, and he fouls the first pitch off. Strike one. Slick, as they call him, got the first Cardinal hit of the game, leading off the second inning with a line single to center. And they call him Slick for two reasons. He's an outstanding fielder, and he dresses real nice.
Stylish, huh?
Style.
They got some stylish dressers on that Cardinal club. Ralph mentioned Ozzie Smith earlier. 10 best dressed casual dressers in Southern California.
Some heavy competition there.
That's right.
Strike two. Then fouled away, so it's still 0-2. Darling has struck out two, allowed 2 base hits. Both singles. Van Slyke's to center, and the infield base hit by McGee. He has walked 2 as well. But so far, here in the bottom of the fourth with 1 out, we are scoreless as you look at the Gateway Arch in the dark. Ball. He's out of there, says third base umpire Fred Brocklander. Carter appropriately going through and making the tag, and it's strikeout number 3.
I think Van Slyke knew it too. He realizes he has gone too far on that and wanted to run, and that kind of gave it away.
That's when you really get caught in between. Said, gee, should I stand here and try to fake it out?
Right.
Or maybe I better get on down to first, especially on a ball in the dirt. Your first tendency is to run on down there. So 2 out in the fourth, and here's Terry Pendleton. And he takes a fastball for strike 1. Pendleton reached on a fielder's choice in the second and then was caught stealing. Cardinals have stolen 1, and they have been caught once. Fastball fouled away, and it's 0-2, and Darling now is really getting ahead of the Cardinal hitters.
A lot said about whether Dwight Gooden should start against John Tudor tonight. Just consider the other side of the coin. If Darling beats Tudor, the Mets win tonight, then they've got their ace in baseball going tomorrow night.
Skied down the left field line. George Foster playing Pendleton almost right there. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Ron Darling. So at the end of 4 in a biggie here in St. Louis. Still no score. We're back after this word from Ivory. Kiner back here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis as we go to the top of the 5th inning in a scoreless affair. John Tudor of the Cardinals will face George Foster, Ray Knight, and Rafael Santana. Tudor, who has won 19 of his last 20, and among those in attendance, Tom Ryan, sitting to the right of the gentleman with the sun visor of WOR-TV. I mean, there have been some people
make the trip from New York to St. Louis. Talking to a fellow today at the hotel, said he came over on an airplane from New York, and he thought it was a charter. There were so many Mets fans on there. People with hats and pennants and everything.
Well, this game certainly has the playoff atmosphere. I don't think it would be overstating the fact that it's almost like a World Series. The press box is crowded. Busch Stadium's full. And we got a dandy of a game on hand.
And two pretty good pitchers going at it.
I'll say.
Foster grounded to second his first time up. And he pops a fastball into foul territory and out of play behind the Cardinal dugout. Strike one. George has hit .302 over the last 30 games coming into tonight, and this year, prior to his first at bat, hitting .313 against the Cardinals with 3 home runs. Davy Johnson. And a fastball a little high and tight. 1-1.
Well, you can tell the people here in St. Louis are not used to seeing waves. Might be the worst wave started I've ever seen. You got to live on one of the East Coast or West Coast. You have to do that wave.
Foul back out of play, and it's 1-2. Yeah, the mighty muddy Mississippi doesn't have too many waves, does it? Maybe a wake once in a while from a boat. There's Ray Knight, the on-deck hitter. One and two to Foster. And a high fastball popped up. Darrell Porter takes it in foul territory, 1 away.
That's 8 in a row retired by John Tudor. And of those 8, none have been hit well, with the exception of Hernandez's long fly to left field. Boy, he can surgically cut you apart. He is on some kind of a roll. Winner of 19 out of 20.
And he doesn't look like he's lost anything tonight. Ray Knight has the only New York base hit, a single to right center field in the second inning. And he skies one out of play down the right field line for strike one. Well, it looks like standing room only out there, doesn't it? That area of the walkway around the field boxes where there is a railing absolutely jammed with people all the way around the stadium. That's just inside 1-1. There you can see the people, and I mean the seats are full. Those aren't folks that went for hot dogs. Those are extra folks, including one of our cameras. And a changeup in there. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ray Knight disagreeing with home plate umpire Dutch Rennert.
Well, now think about this sequence. Fastball fouled away on the outside part, then an inside fastball, and now the bender, and you see Ray Knight out in front. This guy's got you going really 4 ways, in and out and up and back.
And a feeble swing for strike 3 as Tudor picks up his second strikeout. And there are 2 gone here in the 5th inning, and 9 in a row now retired by number 30.
Watch Knight. See, when they can commit you going forward, throw him an outside fastball, inside fastball, then the curveball, then the straight change to get you going forward. 4 perfect pitches right there.
Outstanding sequence. Santana grounded out to second to end the second inning, and he takes low and inside for ball 1.
Plus, you know, in this ballpark, you can throw without fear of making a mistake. The mistakes are long outs.
You've got in the outfield. Fastball right in there, 1-1. Grounded foul outside of third. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now we're still early. Top of the 5th inning, about the midway point in the game.
but it is as advertised so far. 1 hit for the Mets, 2 for the Cardinals. And the off-speed pitch, and just a piece of it by Santana to stay alive as Porter struggled to hang on but couldn't, and now still can't.
Now watch Santana, the lunge right there. That was a straight change, and Porter, fortunately for Santana, can't hold on to it, so Rafi has new life.
1-2 with 2 out and nobody on. And that's low and away, 2-2. And a fastball line foul. So the count remains 2-2. Rafael has hit .303 over the last 9 games coming into tonight, and he has really been very consistent all season long. Very few slumps. 3-2 now. Tudor, who is second in the National League in earned run average, to Dwight Gooden. And ball 4. Second walk that Tudor has allowed. The first one came back in the first inning to Hernandez. And that breaks a string of 9 in a row retired by John.
Tudor slamming that ball into his glove because he realizes that had he gotten Santana out, then Darling would have led off the 6th inning. Something that can go unnoticed, but now the Mets at least have Mookie Wilson to lead it off in the 6th. And we have said it many times, it's a game of firsts. And the chances are much better to get that first runner on if Wilson's leading off than Ron Darling.
And right up the middle for a base hit for Ron Darling. Santana stops at second as the Mets pick up their second base hit, and with 2 out have runners at first and second.
Excuse me, Steve, but so much for theory, huh? Ron Darling just steps up there and says, boys, nothing to this hit. Slams a single to center. Now the Mets have a runner in scoring position for the first time tonight.
And you know, Timmy, we often talk about how you get to a certain point in the game. Tudor wanting to get ahead of Darling after walking. Santana came right in with a pitch, and Ron was ready for it.
Yeah, when you walk a batter, the pitcher thinks, well, my wheels might be coming off, so I got to go ahead and throw that fastball right down the middle now and reestablish my control.
And that's not Tudor's style. Here's Mookie Wilson, 0 for 2. He's grounded to Ozzie Smith twice, and he pops it up to second base. Tom Herr there. And very quickly the inning is over. The Mets get a walk and a base hit. However, they leave 2. And in the middle of the 5th inning, it is still scoreless here from St. Louis.
Each side with 2 hits and no runs. And Jorgensen fouls it away. So it's 1-2 to Mike. Mike will be followed by Ozzie Smith and then pitcher John Tudor. Mets have won only 6 games in 15 appearances against the Cardinals this year, and they're 1-5 at Busch Stadium. Another one fouled away. Mets won the first 2 games of the season, both extra inning affairs against the Cardinals. Then they came to Busch and they won the first game they played here this year. But since that time, the Cardinals have won 5 in a row. Curveball, see you later. Strikeout number 4 for Ron Darling, and the batter will be Ozzie Smith.
Shortstop.
And 3 of the 4 have come on breaking balls. Darling with an outstanding curveball tonight. Just locked Jorgensen right up.
Ozzie grounded out on a fine play by second baseman Wally Backman in the 2nd. 0-1.
Well, I'll give you the rundown of some other scorers tonight. In the American League East, the Yankees are leading the Brewers 3-1 in the 5th inning, and Detroit is leading Toronto 3-0 in the 6th inning.
Split finger fastball is low, 1-1.
Over in the American League West, tight as it can be. With California batting in the 5th inning, they've scored 2 runs. They have 2 on and lead Kansas City 3-0.
Nothing the score. Bottom of the 5th inning. 2-1 to Ozzie Smith. Darling now has 163 strikeouts on the year. Last year he didn't have but 136 over the course of the season. Split finger fastball hit hard to right center, but there's Wilson. 2 out. Ozzie Smith hit 2 balls hard, has nothing to show for it. And the batter, John Tudor.
Well, Mookie playing shallow for Ozzie, who doesn't have a great deal of power, although this year he's flashed a little more power than in the past. But Mookie able to get back in plenty of time. Boy, there's a lot of room out there.
Ozzie having a fine year, especially as a right-handed hitter. He has all 6 of his home runs as a right-hander this year. Curveball is high. 1-0 to John Tudor. He struck out his first time up. Out of play. 1-1 to Tudor.
In the National League West, Cincinnati defeated the Giants in San Francisco 7-6 today. And, of course, the Padres are in Los Angeles later on. And right now, it's a 5.5 game. Well, make that a 5-game lead with Cincinnati winning.
Cincinnati's still in it. Magic number 2 in the West, 4 in the East. Cardinals need to win 2 games against the Mets to win it, or if they depend on this weekend, they would have to win 1 game from the Cubs. That's if the Mets win 2 out of 3. That would cut it down to the magic number of 2. So the Mets would have to sweep the Expos this weekend, while the Cardinals have to lose 2 out of 3. If they lost all 3 games, then it would be the Mets. So the Mets have to win 5 games of their 6 remain to have any kind of chance to play.
Well, there's the semi-exciting Fred Bird the Redbird.
It's semi-exciting. That's being kind. This ball hit well to left center, but there's Wilson again. Man, he can control that thing by himself out there. That's 7 in a row retired by Darling, who is matching Tudor. A brilliant pitcher's duel here at Busch. No score after 5. Now a word from Garcia Vega.
Perfect sequence of pitches. Here's a fastball away. Knight fouls it off. Now watch it. In between there was another pitch. This is the fastball inside. Now here's a straight change, and he misses it.
Second baseman, Wally.
There was a curveball in that sequence as well that you didn't see, but I mean, he just used everything he had in getting Knight out of there. The pitch you didn't see was a ball, but those were the 3 strikes out of the 4 pitches that sent Knight back to the bench.
And Wally Backman, who is 0 for 2, the batter. Fastball on the corner. No score, top of the 6th. The Mets with 2 hits. The Cardinals with 2 hits. Change up and a beauty. 0-2. Mets have had 1 base runner at second base. The Cardinals have had 2 at second base. It has been a pitcher's night. Fastball misses and just missed. 1-2.
Backman, after a bit of a slump, has come back to be pretty hot over the last week or so. 394 in the last 9 games.
Change up, and it got him. That's the 3rd strikeout for John Tudor, and with 1 out, the batter Keith Hernandez.
First baseman.
And what a job he has done keeping the Mets hitters off balance. Mentioned earlier, Timmy, the back and forth, not only the inside-outside. It's like sitting on top of a joystick. Got you going every which way, and you don't know which way to go. You can't get dug in at the plate against him.
They talk about movement of the pitch. Well, really, if you can change that around and with a deceptive motion have the movement of the hitter, you're accomplishing the same thing. Hernandez fly deep to left and has walked. 1-0. First pitch just missed. Steve Carlton used to talk about the lanes of the plate. The fruitful outside 2 inches and the inside 2 inches. Bob Gibson the same way. Said the middle 13 inches are the hitters. The outside and inside lanes are mine. 1-1 to Hernandez. Tudor obviously, with that same theory on pitching.
That particular pitch on the outside 2 inches.
Outside, 2-1. Hernandez, a lifetime 300 hitter, and that's what he's hitting on the season. 300. Keith, the all-time leader in game-winning RBIs with 24, surpassing Harold Baines, who had 22 for the White Sox in '83. Man, I mean, he is just missing. 3-1 to Hernandez.
I can remember only one pitch he has thrown tonight that has been way out of the strike zone, or what you would term way out of the strike zone.
There's one on the corner, 3-2. Line drive, base hit, left field for Hernandez. Hernandez looks like he's going that way all the way, and Tudor appears to be wanting to pitch him outside.
And Keith is obviously looking outside. Of the 3-1 pitch, he laid off the inside fastball as he was obviously looking away. Here he gets one out over the plate and just serves it to left field. Serves it, however, with a little authority.
So Hernandez at first base with 1 out. Gary Carter, the batter. He has grounded out twice, once to second and once to third. Ground ball right side. Herr, good play. Tommy Herr cheating from a double play. Carter appeared to be going that way. But a good play by Tommy Herr with Hernandez moving to second.
Watch catcher Darrell Porter move outside here. The fastball is actually probably just a little bit off the plate. And Tommy Herr over that way, probably when he saw Porter moving to the outside, and he was in a position to make the play. No chance, however, to get Hernandez at second.
Your point's well taken, because while a second baseman may be cheating toward second, he's leaning toward first because the pitch is going to be outside. Darryl Strawberry has grounded out on a nice play by Tudor, and he struck out.
In Kansas City, the Royals are still batting in the 5th inning and now lead, or rather, California is still batting in the 5th inning and now lead Kansas City 4-0.
Swing and a miss by Darryl Strawberry. A little anxious on that pitch. So it's 0-1. No balls and a strike to Darryl Strawberry. 2 out, Hernandez at second. No score. We're in the 6th. Ball hit well to left field, but Vince Coleman is there. Strawberry gave it a ride, but Coleman had him played perfectly. So for the Mets in the 6th inning, no runs, a hit, and 1 left. After 5.5, no score. Now a word from Manufacturers Hanover. Is walked and grounded back to Darling. Actually a bunt back to Darling. Ron made a nice play. Curveball fouled away. So it's 0-2, Coleman in the hole. We mentioned Willie McGee and Coleman before, with 164 stolen bases between them now. They surpassed Ron LaFleur and Rodney Scott of the Expos, who had 160 back in 1980. Coleman fights off another one.
And the two of them combined have significantly more than half of the Cardinal team total of now 308.
Coleman has more stolen bases than 5 teams in the National League.
That's right.
Houston, San Diego, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, and San Francisco. Curveball is low. Carter thankful that Coleman didn't swing at the ball. 1-2 to Vince Coleman. I'm surprised there hasn't been more of the switching of baseballs tonight. Usually on a night like this, the oil glands in the palms dry up, and you can't feel the ball. You don't think the ball has seams.
It's real slick. And your fingers get cold, too. Obviously, that's why the pitchers are allowed to blow on their hands. And when your fingers get cold, obviously, they get numb.
Breaking ball. Got him. 5th strikeout for Darling in the 8th. Cardinal in a row that he has retired. One away.
Well, Ron Darling's curveball has just been outstanding tonight. This one was up in the strike zone, but got the job done. And even though Coleman walked his first time up, the Mets have done a good job in keeping him off the bases so far.
All year long, really. He's batting only .225 against the Mets. Willie McGee 1 for 2. 1-0 to McGee. Split finger fastball, swing and a miss, 1-1. Back in 1982, the Cardinals traded Bob Sykes to the Yankees for Willie McGee. Line drive, base hit, left field. Foster hurriedly gets it to Backman, but McGee the base runner with 1 out.
Well, Willie McGee, the leading hitter, with good reason. Boy, does he use all the park. I mean, he uses all the infield and all of the outfield in getting his base hits. His second hit, he has 2 of the 3 Cardinal hits tonight.
Tommy Herr, the batter. He's hitless in 2 trips. Tom with 108 RBIs, the most by a Cardinals second baseman since Frankie Frisch drove in 114 back in 1930. The Fordham Flash. McGee has 1 stolen base, 55 on the year. No score, bottom of the 6th inning. Neither side has had a runner at third base yet. There have really not been a lot of balls hit too very hard, have there?
No, and a few that have been gobbled up by some fine defensive play on both sides.
Fastball is up and away. 1-0 to Tommy Herr.
Coleman got to second base in the first inning for the Cardinals. McGee, in stealing his 55th base of the year in the third, made it to second. That's been it for the Cardinals. For the Mets, Hernandez got to second base after singling in the 6th inning.
Another throw to first.
And Santana walked, and Darling singled him to second in the 5th. So 2 runners for each side at second base so far, and that's been about it.
Good move that time, but McGee back in time. Maury Wills used to say, if you go back standing up, you're not off far enough.
Well, I think that both Coleman and McGee would disagree with that. They run so well, they don't need to take a big lead.
Right. He's not running, and Herr fouls it back, 1-1. Lou Brock never went back in head first. Not a bad base runner.
No.
His 118 stolen bases back in '74, the most ever by a National Leaguer. Vince Coleman 9 behind Lou. And of course Ricky Henderson, the all-time seasonal stolen base leader with 130. 1-1 to Herr, 1 out. McGee at first. No score. McGee back again. Darling 16-5 on the year, 29-17 lifetime, and Herr lifts it to left. Foul territory, night over. And he makes the catch. Good play by Ray Knight. That's twice that Herr has fouled tonight. And with 2 out, the batter, Darrell Porter.
Well, the ball slicing away off the left-handed hitting bat of Tom Herr. Had a lot of spin on it, but Knight stayed with it.
Steve, I think a key point with this Cardinal ball club, they do have speed, but most of their speed is hitting in front of good left-handed hitting. And it's a lot tougher for a catcher to throw behind a left-hander than it is for a right-hander.
And that's just one more thing that has contributed to their 308 stolen bases.
McGee not running, and Porter grounds it to Keith Hernandez, who makes the play. So another strong inning for Ron Darling. No runs, a hit, and 1 left. After 6, no score. Ralph Kiner joins Steve after this word from the good olds guys.
On WOR, catch the rush hour news that you don't have to rush home for. News 9 Prime Time with Tom Dunn and Sarah Lee Kessler. The news convenient for working people like us. Weeknights at 8 here on Channel 9. And as we go to the top half of the seventh inning, here's a guy who's one of the top guys, Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Steve, thank you very much. And it'll be George Foster, the leadoff for the Mets. Both teams have had 2 runners in scoring position, and neither able to catch the runners. Foster in this game has grounded out and fouled out. Both sides with 3 hits. And as advertised, the pitching duel with John Tudor going against Ron Darling. And Foster fouls it off the end of the bat. George has hit a home run off Tudor this year, and he's had 3 against the Cardinals. Davey Johnson taking a look at that lineup card. And Foster totally fooled by the change of pace, and it's strike 2.
Boy, Tudor has used that particular pitch so effectively tonight. He's been very selective with it and very effective with it.
So George with a 2-strike count as he leads off here in the 7th inning. One ball, 2 strikes. Tudor losing his footing on that one. And strike 3. Tudor gets his 4th strikeout.
Well, again, it's the old inside-outside routine. They get you going up and back and in and out. And you just can't get in there and get a good, solid cut against him very often.
And now the batter will be Ray Knight, who singled in the 2nd, struck out in the 5th. And the off-speed pitch again. Boy, he is amazing. He's got to have a great move with that pitch because no one's come close to it. Tudor with 10 shutouts. Ground ball down the line, and it is just foul.
Boy, Ray was out of there in a hurry. He thought he had an extra base hit. Boy, here's a great shot for you, right down the line. That ball has got to be over the bag when it goes in fair territory, or rather when it goes by the bag, and it was not, obviously.
So the count at strike 2 to Ray Knight. The Mets have won 95 ball games. The Cardinals have won 98. Last time a team won over 100 ball games and not win was back in 1962, and there is ball 1, 1 ball, 2 strikes. 62, the Dodgers won 102 games, tied with the Giants, and the Giants won the playoff game. That year, the Mets were 60 games out of first place. First year of the Mets.
What a difference a quarter century makes, huh?
And this fastball hit out to shallow right field. Herr back can't get to it. He pulls off the ball, thinking that the right fielder Van Slyke could get it. But it drops in front of Van Slyke, and Knight has his 2nd hit of the game. Mets have their 4th base hit.
Well, it isn't pretty, but it's kind of a typical base hit off John Tudor, the way he's pitching tonight. It's tough to get the good part of the bat on the ball. But the Mets will take it, because they may not get too many more the way Tudor looks.
That brings up Rafael Santana. Rafael walking in the 5th inning to reach first base. Also has grounded out, so he is 0 for 1. And Rafi takes, and it's a called strike.
I thought Whitey Herzog's comment before the game, Ralph, was interesting, where he said that in talking about how many wins each club has, usually a club with 98 wins is already looking toward the playoffs at this point in time, but they have not been able to shake New York.
And it's back off of the leg of Tudor, and it'll go down the right field line. It's a base hit. Knight on his way to third, and he is being held up by Harrelson as the throw comes into home, and on the base hit, the Mets get runners at second and third.
Then it's going to be a ricochet double for Rafael Santana. Obviously, the Cardinals concerned about Tudor. It looked like it hit him on the foot or maybe the ankle. It was hard to tell, but it must have hit him hard because you can see how far it ricocheted down the right field line. Knight makes it to third easily, and Santana to second easily with his 18th double of the year.
Pitcher Ron Darling.
And they will bring up the pitcher, Ron Darling. Darling with a base hit back in the 5th inning. Now Whitey Herzog is coming out to check out his pitcher. All likelihood they'll let him throw a pitch or two to find out whether or not he is injured.
Yankees are now leading 3-1 in the 7th inning. They had been up 3-0, and at last report, Detroit was leading Toronto.
So Herzog back to the bench. Whitey Herzog in trying to get a contract from Augie Bush, talking to the 85-year-old Augie Bush. We got a pinch runner for Ray Knight. It's going to be Howard Johnson. Said he'd like to have a 3-year contract, and then if they wanted to fire him, he'd be a consultant for the rest of his life. Augie Bush said he thought that was a good idea. Augie, 85 years of age. Gussie, I should say. And then he said, Whitey then said to him, he says, your life or my lifetime?
Yeah, it would make a big difference.
So Ron Darling, the batter with runners at second and third, 1 man out. The Mets with their first real strong threat.
And obviously the way Tudor pitching, Davey Johnson wanting as much speed as he can get at third base. Ray Knight bothered by some leg injuries, and Howard Johnson runs well. So with 1 out and the possibility of a sacrifice fly and the infield playing in all the way around for St. Louis, Johnson the pinch runner at third for Knight.
Infield's in for a play at the plate. And Darling takes for ball 1. Ron with 13 base hits had not driven in a run this year. Ken Daly, the left-hander, throwing in the bullpen for the Cardinals. One ball, no strikes, and the pitch on the squeeze play. It's bunted on and missed, and Johnson is going to be in a rundown. So Darling failing to make contact, and Johnson out on the rundown.
Well, you pay your money and you take your chances, and Darling had the bat out in front, but the pitch was low and he couldn't make any contact. It was not the safety squeeze. Look at Howard Johnson breaking right away. And here comes Darrell Porter. Pendleton making the tag, score at 2-5, and Santana alertly and properly down at third base to at least sacrifice, or rather salvage something on the play.
So now 2 men out. And again, Darling moving out to bunt, and he was trying to bunt his way on that time with 2 men out. Squeeze play can't work unless you get a base hit there. Santana, the runner at third base. 2 balls, 1 strike to count for Ron Darling. to 3-1 as Tudor misses inside. Darling checking to see whether or not he has the hit sign. And the 3-1 pitch. It's in there for strike 2, and Darling taking on that pitch. So the count goes to 3-2. And Darling goes after a fastball that was high out of the strike zone. He fouls it off, so the count will stay at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Paid crowd here tonight, 46,026. And they are seeing quite a ball game. No score, top of the 7th inning. And this ball popped up. The shortstop, Ozzie Smith, and also the third baseman, Pendleton. And it's Pendleton that makes the play, and that'll do it. So the Mets miss a glorious opportunity. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 man left at third. The score at the end of 6.5 innings, the Mets nothing, the Cardinals nothing.
Trade winds on St. Pete Beach, Tampa Bay's first choice oceanfront resort hotel. We'll see you at Fan Appreciation Day on Saturday.
And for the Mets, it'll be Howard Johnson at third base, replacing Ray Knight. Johnson a pinch runner for Knight. And for the Cardinals, Andy Van Slyke will lead off. No score, bottom of the 7th inning. Mets about hit the Cardinals 5-3. Van Slyke with a base hit in 2 appearances, also struck out. And Ron Darling starts off with a breaking ball and gets a strike.
Of course, Ralph, it remains to be seen just how crucial the missed squeeze play was, but that's certainly the biggest play in this game so far.
And the fastball back a ball, 1 ball, 1 strike. That's with runners at second and third and 1 out. The suicide squeeze put on, and Darling failed to bunt the ball. And Howard Johnson, the pinch runner for Ray Knight, trapped off between home and third and tagged out. And the curve again, and a strike call. Van Slyke struck out swinging at a curveball his last time up, hitting .256 for the year. And a fastball right at Santana, and he makes the play. So 1 away on the line drive to Santana, and that'll bring up Terry Pendleton.
Well, here's another version of the timing play. You got to time the leap just right, and Santana does, to go up and bring it down.
Rafael Santana, formerly with the St. Louis Cardinals. Now it's Terry Pendleton. And Pendleton rips it down the right field corner. Strawberry over to play it off the fence. Pendleton into second base. And now it's the Cardinals' turn.
The word momentum is certainly overused in sports, but you've got to believe that a little bit of the wind in the Mets' sails was taken out on the missed squeeze attempt in their top half of this inning. And now Pendleton has ignited the crowd with a double here in the bottom half.
4th hit for the Cardinals, and it brings up Mike Jorgensen, who has walked and struck out. Mike hitting at .202, a former Met. Time the Cardinals have had a runner in scoring position in this game. Both sides have had opportunities and still no runs, and the fastball is fouled off.
Let's look at Ron Darling's delivery here on the pitch that Jorgensen just fouled off. He too slipped and fell as Tudor did earlier. There hasn't been any rain here for a couple of days, so there's no real problem as far as the mound is concerned. And the field was covered by a tarp all of yesterday and most of today, just in case anyway.
strike to count to Mike Jorgensen. Pressure-packed ball game. And the fastball for ball one. Runner at second base, one man out, bottom of the seventh inning. And the off-speed pitch for a ball. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
They did play football here on Sunday, the St. Louis football Cardinals, and for that reason, obviously, the mound is removed, and it has to be replaced prior to the game, so perhaps there could be a little something as far as the mound is concerned. You wouldn't think so, though, the way both pitchers have pitched.
And the breaking ball is grounded foul, so the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. On deck batter Ozzie Smith. He's hit the ball well twice. Cardinals now have drawn just close to 2.5 million people. And they're seeing quite a game here tonight. It's a breaking ball and foul again. So the count stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Last year, the Cardinals won 84 games and lost 78. So Whitey Herzog doing quite a job to put the Cardinals in a position of winning the championship in the East. They have a record of 95 and 61. Davey Johnson saw his team win 90 games last year. This year, they've won 95. Again, the 2-2 pitch, and this is a fastball for ball 3, and that fills it out to 3-2. Mets over the last 2 years have won more ball games than any team in the National League. Three and 2. And it's ball 4, and Jorgensen is on. Second time he has walked in the 3-2 pitch, and that puts runners at first and second and brings up Ozzie Smith.
Third walk issued by Darling, and as you said, Ralph, 2 of them to Mike Jorgensen, who has an outstanding eye. And here comes Keith Hernandez, in fact, the entire infield, as well as Gary Carter for a brief meeting on the mound. As you see, no one yet up and throwing in the New York bullpen.
Ozzie Smith, batting in the 8th position in the batting order, was robbed of a base hit on a fine play by Wally Backman in the 2nd, and then lined out to Mookie Wilson in center field in the 5th. Ozzie coming into this ball game hitting .347 in his last 23 games, and he is one of the toughest men to strike out. He struck out only 25 times this year. After Ozzie Smith, the pitcher, John Tudor.
Ozzie Smith has been on base in 11 straight games and 44 of the last 51. He is 0 for 2 tonight, however.
And he fouls off the fastball. Ozzie has not hit a home run batting left-handed. And now Roger McDowell starting to throw for the Mets. One strike to count. And now 1 ball and 1 strike. Darley missing with a fastball. On deck batter, the pitcher, John Tudor. No one throwing in the bullpen for the Cardinals. Runners at first and second. Good speed on the bases. And the breaking ball is grounded foul. So it's 1 and 2. Ozzie has a .275 batting average against the Mets this year with 1 run batted in.
And that's about the same as his average against the league, which is about 25 points higher than his career average. He's hit .347 over the last 23 games, so he's really been coming on here at the end of the season.
1-2 the count. Now time is called. Hamilton, the runner at second base, with 16 stolen bases in 26 attempts. And it's hit right back to Darling. He has a chance for two. There's one and the other, and that'll do it. Darling to Santana to Hernandez, and the Mets get out of it. Good play by Ron Darling.
Ball hit right back, and Darling in excellent fielding position gives Santana a good throw. And old get him by a step gets him by a step. Here's Davies' reaction in the dugout. All right. No. Charlie Samuels as well.
No runs, one hit, and one man left on base to score at the end of 7. The Mets nothing and St. Louis nothing. Now here's a word from the good old guys.
Channel 9's late night lineup of laughter with Bizarre right after the ball game here on Channel 9.
And it's Mookie Wilson, the leadoff here in the top of the 8th. No score in the game. Mookie looks outside for ball 1. Mookie 0 for 3 in the game. Out on a good play on a high chopper by Ozzie Smith. And a fastball fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Mookie's hit .314 since he came off the disabled list in his last 21 starts for New York. And he's gotten some big hits in addition to that.
And Mookie takes the fastball, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Mookie with 12 hits against the Cardinals this year. One of them a home run. And it's ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. On deck batter, Wally Backman. The 3-1 pitch. Mookie hits it to right field. Van Slyke is right there. So 1 away in the 8th inning. And Mets fans, you can have it all with Michelob Light. Super premium taste in a less filling beer.
Wally Backman.
Wally Backman, the batter. Wally 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Wally batting from the right-hand side once again. Tried hitting from the left-hand side against left-hand batters for a short period of time, then gave that up. And now he bunts it right back to Tudor. Tudor's throw to first base for the out. So 2 away, and Keith Hernandez the batter.
Well, Vince Coleman tried this for St. Louis earlier in the ball game, and Backman now trying to get the Mets a base runner, gets thrown out as well.
Keith Hernandez the batter. Keith in this game with a base hit and 2 times up. He also has walked. Keith hitting at .302 for the year. He's had 10 home runs and 87 runs batted in.
And it'll be interesting to see how Tudor pitches him, Ralph, after the last time up when Keith was obviously looking away and went to it that way with the pitch.
And he tries him inside. They are playing Keith as though he were a right-hand batter. And when you play that much, you'd have to figure that Tudor with that fine control will work him outside. And he goes back inside and picks up the fastball strike. It's 1-1.
Last time up, as you see the defensive alignment against Keith, on a 3-1 fastball on the inside part of the plate, Hernandez just took it as he was looking away, and that's what happened there again.
And he tries to go to left field on that pitch and fouls it back. 3 straight fastballs by Tudor.
Watch out for that changeup, huh?
He has really mixed up his pitches well. The Mets have not had a run off of his pitching for 17 2/3 innings. And the breaking ball, strike 3, and Hernandez becomes the 5th strikeout victim of John Tudor. A 2-2, 3-inning in the score. At the end of 7.5 innings, the Mets nothing, the Cardinals nothing. Now here's a word from Michelob Light. It's going to be John Tudor, the leadoff for the Cardinals, and they're part of the 8th inning. No score in the game. Tudor has struck out. He also has flied out to center field. And coming in now for the play-by-play, Steve Zabriskie.
Thanks, Ralph. Tudor thinking about bunting for a base hit. Misses it for strike one. He has been unbelievable tonight. Of course, I guess you really can't say that in light of the fact that he's won 19 of his last 20 decisions. But he has looked outstanding. He has risen to the occasion, as has Ron Darling. It's been an outstanding duel. Both teams have had chances. Both pitchers have had to pitch out of some trouble. 5 hits for New York, 4 hits for St. Louis. Darling has struck out 5 while walking 3, and Tudor has struck out 5 while walking 2. And a check swing grounded to third. Howard Johnson has it. 1 away. And Tudor gets a hand as he goes back to the dugout. There's a look at the scoreboard.
And one of the stats that you'll appreciate for the St. Louis Cardinals, when they have had the lead after 8 innings, they have a record of 81-0.
And that is because of the outstanding job turned in by their Bruce Suterless bullpen. It's been relief by committee. Vince Coleman is 0 for 2 plus a walk, and he ducks under the breaking ball, and it's ball 1.
Cardinal bullpen with 42 saves. Suter last year had 45 to tie the major league record.
Fastball is popped up, but it'll be out of play behind the New York dugout, and the count 1-1. Coleman, who was on a walk in the first inning, has stolen second and third in the same inning 11 times this year. I mean, when he gets on, he just goes. Fouls another one back. 1-2. Ron Darling shutting out the Cardinals on 4 hits through 7 1/3 so far. And that misses low and away, and it's 2-2.
He has walked 3 in this game, and one of the walks going to Coleman.
There's Willie McGee on deck. Curveball again fouled out of play. So the count holds at 2-2. There's Jesse Orozco in the New York bullpen, no longer in action, as Roger McDowell was up in the 7th inning when the Cardinals had runners at first and second following a double and a walk.
That was he blowing the bubble.
As usual. Fastball, and Johnson picks it nicely and throws him out. Hernandez, boy, really had to hustle to get to the bag as he was playing deep, and Coleman can motor down that line.
This ball hit hard by Coleman. And, of course, with Coleman's speed, you have to fire that ball over there. Hernandez arriving just about the same time as the ball.
So 2 ground outs to Howard Johnson in his first defensive inning, and here is the league's leading hitter, Willie McGee, who is 2 for 3 tonight and entered the game hitting .386 against the Mets this year. And an off-speed delivery fouled off. It came up and hit Willie in the face, it looked like. And he'll take a moment.
This is the replay of the foul ball off of the plate. Got him on the side of the face there. He's all right.
Coleman, rather than having one helmet for batting left-handed and one helmet for right-handed, wears the double flapper. Sort of like those hats that some mothers made their sons wear in the cold weather. Remember those, Ralph?
Mm-hmm.
Tie-down ear flaps. Breaking ball again for a strike. And it's 0-2. Our director, Bill Webb, still has his.
You could use it tonight. Curveball in the dirt. McGee goes after it.
Fortunately, we have our ears covered with these headsets. Another one in the dirt. Blocked by Carter. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here we are with our ear muffs on, huh?
Well, they come in handy on a night like this.
So does this overcoat, pal. Oh. Summer is over, at least here in St. Louis.
Well, we're in the month of October.
Yeah. Well, down in Florida, I'm here to tell you it's still warm. Another breaking ball, and it's fouled off. Still 1-2. McGee is first in batting average, tied for third in stolen bases, second in runs scored, first in triples, and surprisingly, Ralph, he is 7th in the league in slugging percentage.
He's had a fine year and certainly one of the candidates for the MVP, as well as Tommy Herr, who's having his best year by a long shot.
1-2. Now 2-2. 2 out. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Nobody on, and a 2-2 count to McGee. Scoreless. Tom Herr awaits on deck. Popped up and playable. Carter calling for it in foul territory, and the inning is over. A 1-2-3 inning for Darling in the 8th. Still scoreless as we go to the 9th after this word from Nissan.
Sitting against Keith Hernandez, this is the sequence of pitches, and this is the way he's been working all night. The first pitch to Hernandez, a fastball that's inside for ball 1.
Catcher Gary Carter.
Then he comes back with a fastball and gets it on the inside quarter for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Keith gets another fastball, this one outside, and Keith fouls it off. Then this curveball, and that's all.
He has been very tough on Hernandez, even though Keith does have a base hit against him. Carter, who is 0 for 3, leading off in the 9th inning for New York. 0-0 the score. Strawberry and Foster to follow. And that's fouled away, and the count 1-1. Gary has grounded into an inning-ending force play in the first, grounded to third, and grounded to second.
He was robbed of a base hit when he grounded to the hole at second. Herr going far to his left to take a base hit away.
And jammed him. Carter fouled it back off the fists. 1-2.
In September, Carter hit .343, 13 home runs, and 34 RBIs. In the last game the Mets won, they won it on Carter's 2-run home run in the 10th inning.
Darryl Strawberry on deck. Carter has driven in 36 runs in the last 29 games. And he gets jammed and loops it down the right field line. It's a base hit. And Gary on that gimpy leg going for 2. He will make it as the ball rolls over into the bullpen. A bloop double leading off the 9th inning down the right field line for Gary Carter, and the Mets have a runner in scoring position.
Well, the fastball is inside. Carter hits it off the trademark. It's just fair. And the ball tracked down in the bullpen by Van Slyke. This is Mike Jorgensen seeing he can't get to it. Van Slyke has to run it down. And the Mets have a runner at second base with no one out.
Carter picks up his 17th double of the year, his first hit of the game, and the New York Mets' 6th hit. And here's Darryl Strawberry, who's 0 for 3. Ball 1. Strawberry robbed of a hit in the 2nd inning when Tudor went high to pull down a bouncer. Jesse Orozco begins to throw for New York. Darryl was struck out in the 4th and flied deep to left in the 6th inning.
Darryl has 1 home run against St. Louis this year, and it came off Tudor. Foster and Strawberry with home runs in the same game against Tudor, and the Mets beating Tudor that day. That was back on April 22nd. Mets winning 7-6.
In fact, 10 of Darrell's 27 home runs are off left-handed pitching this year. And he pops it up. It's coming back behind home plate. Porter gives it a look, but it's out of play. And the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Whitey Herzog in a very familiar stance. Huh, Ralph? Working that gum and sort of a little more animated than Davy Johnson.
Still has that crew cut that he wore when he was a player. Outfielder and first baseman, originally signed by the Yankees.
He went to the mop top for a while, but a couple of years ago he went back and sheared it off. One and two. 2 and 2. Carter at second, nobody out in a scoreless top of the 9th. And Darrell asks for time. And he pops it up. Pendleton calling for it. Porter there. Who's got it? Did they make the catch? What's the call? Third base umpire Fred Brocklander came down the third base line. The home plate umpire Dutch Rennert was screened, and apparently they did not make the play.
Right here, Pendleton making the call saying, I got it. Porter didn't hear him. It goes into Porter's glove and out of it and then down to the ground. And the home plate umpire said they did not catch it. He made the sign and he saw the ball on the ground. So a big break for the Mets.
Another 2-2 pitch, an error charge to Pendleton on the play. First error of the game. And strike 3 called.
Tudor going to the pitch that he used against Hernandez to strike Hernandez out. The sweeping curveball, and this is where it was. Darrell getting that big break on the air by Pendleton, but now Tudor coming back, and the borderline pitch called a strike by Dutch Rennert. Now a conference at the mound as they talk about Foster.
And I'm sure they're discussing whether or not to pitch to him, as with 1 out, a walk to Foster, whether it be intentional or a pitch around, would set up the double play and bring up Howard Johnson, who has been a more effective hitter from the left side than from the right side this year. So we'll see what they've decided to do. Carter, who led off with a double, is still at second, and they're going to walk Foster intentionally.
That is Howard Johnson, who will be the batter. He'll be batting for the first time. Came in as a pinch runner for Ray Knight, who had reached base. Johnson, as a right-hand batter, hitting 162 with 3 home runs. As a left-hand batter, he's hitting 263 for the year with 8 home runs. And on Sunday, it was Howard Johnson's home run that tied up the ball game in the 9th inning. Mets later on won it on Carter's home run in the 10th.
Third baseman,
So runners at first and second for New York with 1 out. The infield in double play depth, and Howard Johnson, who overall is hitting 243 with 11 homers and 44 RBIs, will swing from the right side against Tudor. No score, top of the 9th. And Howard Johnson way out in front for strike 1. Rafael Santana, the on-deck hitter.
Johnson in the pennant race last year for Detroit, but not the same as this year. Detroit, as you recall, got way out in front and won by a big margin.
Tell you, this crowd, nearly 51,000 total, sits in anticipation and then erupts.
And again, the off-speed pitch as Tudor pulls the string, and Johnson way out in front. This has been some ball game.
They are all over this ballpark. Over 46,000 paid and almost 51,000 total here tonight. 2 strikes to Johnson. Punches him out of there, and Tudor has now struck out 7.
Well, Tudor, an artist on the mound here tonight. He set him up with a fastball inside with the 2 changeups, and he gets that in a perfect spot. And Johnson handcuffs. So now the Mets will have Rafael Santana coming up.
Santana is 1 for 2 with a double to right field in the 7th inning. He's also walked and grounded out. First and second now with 2 out for New York. Ball 1.
Santana's double was off the heel of John Tudor. It caromed by the first baseman into the bullpen and set it up for the Mets to have runners at second and third with 1 out. The Mets tried the suicide squeeze. Darling the batter, and Darling missed the pitch. And Johnson, who was a pinch runner, was tagged out in the rundown.
Ball 2.
Santana batting 8th in the batting order. The pitcher due up next.
And there is Darling on deck. So a lot could happen right here. Now Tudor takes a little too much time, so Raffy steps out. 2 out and 2 on, 2 balls on Santana. No score in the top of the 9th inning. Two and 1. Santana, I think, checking with Dutch Renner to see if that would have been a strike had he not swung. There is Tom Paciorek, who may be the pinch hitter for Darling should the Mets prolong the inning. Sharply hit to short, but Ozzie Smith is there. He goes to her, and the inning is over. The Mets get a base hit on a walk, but they lead 2 here in the 9th. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th with no score after this for the good old guys. Down to the nubs already. We're going to the bottom of the 9th scoreless here in the opener of this crucial 3-game series. And the Cardinals are going to have the meat of their order up against Ron Darling. Tom Herr, Darrell Porter, and Andy Van Slyke, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters.
Leading off, second baseman, Tom Herr.
Herr is 0 for 3. And we are getting it on. Tudor and Darling are getting it on tonight. 0-6-0 for the Mets, 0-4-1 for the Cardinals. Darling has struck out 5 and walked 3. Jesse Orozco continues to throw in the Mets bullpen. Herr has popped out in foul territory to the third baseman twice and struck out swinging. Ball 1. And you can look for this 50,000 plus on hand tonight to cheer every pitch here in the bottom of the 9th inning. And a reminder, Saturday's game time at Shea against Montreal is now 2:20 in the afternoon. Ball 2. Instead of 1:30, It'll be a 2:20 start Saturday at Shea. And also Fan Appreciation Day, so you might want to get there early anyway. There's Darrell Porter, who is on deck. Strike one makes it 2-1.
Kerr is one of the most disciplined batters in baseball. He's had 78 walks. He does not swing at bad pitches. And, of course, he has had an outstanding year. He has had 13 game-winning RBIs.
And that's only one of a plethora of outstanding statistics. 3-1 now. And I'll bet you he's taken here. Tommy Herr has been on base via either a hit or a walk in 136 of the Cardinals' 154 games so far.
The other day, he hit a home run on a 3-0 pitch, the first time in his career that he ever swung at a 3-0 pitch and hit a home run.
He said afterward he still doesn't like to do it, too. Now, he's not taking, and he pops it up. Hernandez near the line takes it. It's a foul ball and one away.
Catcher Darrell Porter.
Kerr has popped up in foul territory 3 of his 4 times up. So 1 out in the bottom of the 9th, and Darrell Porter, the hitter, who is 0 for 3. He is grounded out, flied out to shallow right field, and grounded to Hernandez unassisted his last time up. Curveball misses, ball 1. Grounded again. This time Backman has it, and there are 2 out here in the bottom of the 9th.
Right fielder.
So Ron Darling an out away from sending the game to extra innings. And he will face Andy Van Slyke, who singled off of him for the first hit of the game back in the 2nd inning, but since then is 0 for 2. He has struck out and lined to Rafael Santana. Andrew J. Van Slyke, the 3rd. Just missed low at the knees, ball 1. Two out, nobody on in the bottom of the 9th. Just outside, Carter with a little cock of the head and a word for Dutch Rennert. It's 2-0. The on-deck hitter is Terry Pendleton. Grounded into the hole. Hernandez has it to Darling. They got him. Fine play by Hernandez and Darling, and it's a 1-2-3 inning in the 9th.
Well, the good range of Keith Hernandez takes a base hit away. And he makes a very accurate throw to Darling for the out that takes it into extra innings.
We'll go to the 10th with no score here in St. Louis after this for Federal Express. Tom Paciorek will be the pinch hitter, and back in to call it is Ralph Kiner.
Tom pinch hitting for the pitcher, Ron Darling. Paciorek has been up 13 times as a pinch hitter, had 3 hits, and he has driven in 2 runs. John Tudor for the 2nd time in a row against the Mets, going to the 10th inning, and his first pitch is ball 1. Paciorek hitting .288 for the Mets with 1 home run and 10 RBIs. And a strike call. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tudor pitching out of a jam in the 9th inning. And this ball hit in the air to right field. Van Slyke is right there. So 1 away in the 10th. Paciorek back to the bench, and Tudor now will pitch to Mookie Wilson. The Mets in extra inning ball games have won 11 and lost 10. The Cardinals in extra inning ball games have won 9 and lost 10. Mookie 0 for 4. Last time the Mets faced John Tudor was at Shea Stadium, and that game went to the 10th inning. And this ball drilled the left. Right there is Coleman, and he makes the catch. Well, quickly, 2 men out.
Mookie hits this ball right on the nose. But he hit it a little too well, actually, as it didn't get down fast enough to fall in front of Vince Coleman.
So Wilson back to the bench, and Wally Backman the batter. Wally is 0 for 4. Tried to bunt his way on the last time up, was thrown out by the pitcher. Mets no runs on 6 hits, no errors. The Cardinals no runs on 4 hits and 1 error. And Backman hits it to the hole. Ozzie Smith has it. The throw over to first base. The score at the end of 9.5 innings. The Mets nothing, the Cardinals nothing. Now here's a word from Bush Beer. Jesse Orozco. Jesse replacing Ron Darling, who worked 9 outstanding innings, giving up no runs, allowing 4 hits, striking out 5 and walking 3. And Orozco coming in.
Jesse's a record of 7-6 with 17 saves. This is his 54th appearance. His ERA is 2.81. He's worked 77 innings, walked 32, struck out 66, and allowed 6 home runs among his 66 base hits allowed.
Orozco, the winning pitcher on Sunday when he came in the ball game, picked up his 7th victory. And he'll be pitching to Terry Pendleton, Mike Jorgensen, and Ozzie Smith as his scheduled batters.
Leading off, third baseman, Terry Pendleton.
So Terry Pendleton, who is 1 for 3, will lead it off here for the Cardinals in the 10th.
And here's a final in the American League West. Kansas City has defeated California. I take that back. California has defeated Kansas City 4-2. Bobby Grich, a home run for California.
And Ken Daly throwing in the bullpen for St. Louis. The pitcher, John Tudor, due to be the 4th hitter in the inning. Pendleton doubled with 1 out in the 7th inning, but did not advance. And Orozco's fastball for ball 1. Pendleton batting at .239 for the year. Orozco on his 54th appearance of the year with a record of 7-6 and 17 saves. Two balls, no strikes. $46,026 paid here today, and they have not left this ballpark. And the fastball fouled away. So the count at 2 balls and 1 strike. On deck batter is Mike Jorgensen. The 2-1 pitch. Fastball fouled back out of play. Darling pitching an outstanding game. In his last 9 starts, he has had 6 wins and 3 no decisions.
Darling had those 6 wins in a row, and now he's going to have 3 no decisions in a row. And there is the doctor charting the pitches as Dwight Gooden will be on the hill for New York tomorrow night. And we'll be right here at 8:30 Eastern Time.
It was Tudor and Gooden in the last hookup, with Tudor winning in the 10th inning by a score of 1-0 on a home run hit by Cesar Cedeno off Jesse Orozco. And now here today, it was Tudor and Darling, and a similar circumstance of no runs through the first 9 innings. Gooden going out of the ball game in the 9th inning. Orozco came in the 10th. Tudor got the Mets out in the top of the 10th, and then Cedeno with a home run. And that puts the count at 3-2. Davey Johnson, the manager of the Mets. And Whitey Herzog, the manager of the Cardinals. The pressure really on Davey. The Mets need wins. And the 3-2 pitch is popped up in foul territory. Carter back, and he has room, and he makes the catch. So one away. And Mike Jorgensen's being called back. Jorgensen, a batter.
Here's Carter near the screen. As you see, plenty of room as the ball came back a little bit for him. And Cedeno is going to be the pinch hitter as Whitey Herzog and the Cardinals are looking for deja vu.
Cedeno hitting .417 since being acquired from the Cincinnati Reds. 5 home runs, 17 runs batted in 24 ball games. Herzog has said they would be in second place without Cedeno. Overall, he's hitting .284 for the year with 8 home runs, 5 of those with St. Louis, and 47 runs batted in. He was not even playing for the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, Whitey Herzog, throughout his history, especially here in St. Louis, has shown to be a shrewd trader. He started from day one when he got the job.
Got the job in 1980. Only 2 players are left from that ball club. Tommy Herr and Bob Force, the pitcher. And that's ball 1. Cedeno's home run off of Roscoe came on a very tough pitch, a low slider.
Cesar has hit in 12 of his last 14 games.
Is missed. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, this is just a good fastball right here in a good spot.
Cedeno started his career with the Houston Astros and started out in brilliant fashion. Now pitch for a ball, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. One time being compared to Willie Mays as a ball player. He never reached that point of stardom. 2-1 the count. And the slider, a strike call, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, the crowd reacting, and Cedeno a little bit as well, but it's not where the ball is caught. And the sweeping slider from those left-handed hitters can go across that plate in a rather diagonal fashion.
It was that type of pitch that Cedeno hit out of the ballpark to beat the Mets in 10 innings. The 2-2 pitch and a fastball for ball 3, and again a full count. Roscoe went to a 3-2 count to Pendleton, got him to foul out. Now 3-2 to Cedeno. 1 man out, bottom of the 10th inning. Still no score. And it's ball 4. So the winning run is at first base with 1 out. And the batter coming up is Ozzie Smith. Cedeno has 12 stolen bases in 18 attempts. Ozzie Smith, a fine bunter.
And the crowd really reacting now because Jack Clark has come out of the on-deck circle with John Tudor scheduled to hit after Ozzie Smith. There's Jack Clark, who's been out the majority of the last third of the season with the rib cage muscle problem. He did swing the bat before the game, but didn't swing it all that well.
So Ozzie Smith, a tough man to strike out. He struck out only 25 times all year long. Batting for the 4th time in this game. He was robbed of a base hit in the 2nd, lined out to center field in the 5th, then grounded into a double play in the 7th. And a throw to first base, Cedeno back. Cedeno has been out of the lineup because of a sore leg. Injured that leg at Shea Stadium when he stepped in a hole in the outfield running during batting practice. And again, a throw to first. In this ball game, the Cardinals have had 1 stolen base, and they've had 1 runner thrown out. Pendleton thrown out in the 2nd. McGee got a stolen base in the 3rd. And a big jump by Cedeno. The throw by Carter, a good one. And Cedeno is safe. So now the winning run is at second base.
Second stolen base of the game for St. Louis. Santana arguing on the play as he thought the ball beat Cedeno there, as he tried to put the quick tag on him, and Cedeno was safe. The Cardinals have stolen 2 in 3 attempts in the game, and as you can see, he was in there and helped second base umpire Ed Montague make the call.
Stolen base number 309 for St. Louis this year, and now first base is open. And the Mets to talk it over. Davey Johnson, the manager of the Mets, as the Met infield talks it over.
Well, if you put Ozzie on base, with Jack Clark coming up, you're taking your chances because you don't know really how well Clark is going to be able to swing the bat. You do put the double play in order.
And Clark would be a double play man if he would be the pinch hitter. 1 ball, no strikes to count. The winning run is at second base. 1 man out. The curveball for a ball. So it's 2-0. Ozzie Smith, a much better hitter from the right-hand side of the plate, has had 13 home runs, all from the right-hand side of the plate in his major league career. And that's ball 3. So the count, 3 balls, no strikes.
Well, as great as the starting pitching has been for both clubs, this series is probably going to be decided by the bullpens. And as you can see, Davey Johnson with a gesture of disgust as the count goes to 3-0.
And the 3-0 pitch by Orozco. And Ozzie takes it to strike call. So it's 3-1. And the 3-1 pitch is fouled back out of play, and that puts it at 3 balls and 2 strikes. For Jack Clark, who, if he comes to the plate with 2 men out, would probably be walked. One man out, 3-2 count. 3rd full count by Orozco. He got Pendleton to foul out on the 3-2 count. He walked Cedeno on a 3-2 count, and now a 3-2 count on Ozzie Smith. Again, time is called. This time, Ozzie Smith asks for time. Ozzie with his best RBI year ever with 51. And now the pitch, and it's strike 3 call. So Orozco gets a big strikeout. And now with 2 men out, the batter will be
looks like it's going to be Tito Landrum instead of Jack Clark as we look at the called third strike. Orozco on a very, very close pitch, getting the call from Dutch Rennert. And Ozzie Smith is punched out of there. So Jack Clark called back, as obviously Whitey Herzog knew that he'd be walked with first base open.
He was up as a decoy, and now it'll be Tito Landrum. And if Landrum is walked, they would be pitching to Vince Coleman. So we'll see how the Mets are going to play it. Landrum hitting .280 on the year with 4 home runs, 21 RBIs. And they're going to walk him intentionally. So there you are with Vince Coleman, the batter, coming up with a winning run at second. Cardinals on 2 walks will have runners at first and second with 2 men out in the 10th inning. And still no score. Coleman with a total of 36 runs batted in. And in this ball game, he is 0 for 3. As Orozco will now take him on. And now Coleman is being called back. We're going to have Jack Clark.
Well, quite a move here by Whitey Herzog as this crowd comes to its feet. He had Clark out there all through the previous at-bat of Ozzie Smith. Pulled him back in favor of Landrum, knowing full well he would be walked. And now with first and second and 2 men out, brings him up to hit.
Clark was out early for special batting practice, and all during batting practice as we watched him, he could not take a full swing. He is bothered by a pulled muscle in the rib cage, and he will have to go at it at somewhat less than maximum effort. But he is a fine hitter, the power hitter, batting at .285 with 22 home runs and 87 runs batted in. Clark coming to the St. Louis Cardinals from the San Francisco Giants. Orozco's pitch is hit foul down the left field side.
He had a pretty good cut at that one.
Way out in front of the pitch, fouled off over to the left.
Jack Clark has an outstanding swing, and he put a good one on that ball, even though he was out in front of it a bit. And I don't know how much of that pregame batting practice, Ralph, might have been some decoy on the part of Whitey, too. I wouldn't put anything past the White Rat, as he is affectionately known.
So a 1-strike count. Winning run at second base. 2 men out. Bottom of the 10th inning. And the curveball, and it's pulled foul. So Clark now with a 2-strike count. Cedeno on second base indicating something to Clark with a motion of his arm. There you are.
Hit it up the middle is what he's saying. Don't try to pull the ball, especially now with 2 strikes. Try to hit the ball back through the middle. Just a little reminder.
Mets are set up for Clark as a pull hitter in the infield and straight away in the outfield. Outfield very deep. Shortstop and second baseman for the Mets, also very deep. And of course, anything hit on the ground, they'll try to knock down with any kind of a play at all, just to keep the ball in play in the infield. The 2-strike pitch as Clark adjusts in the batter's box. And it's way outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Back on September 21st, the first game that Jack Clark was back in action after the initial injury, he hit a home run that gave the Cardinals a victory.
That was against the Montreal Expos, and then the following night, a home run by Tommy Herr with a man on to win the ball game with 2 men out, a 2-ball, 2-strike count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ball game now into the 3rd hour. And the pitch. It has popped up into right field. Strawberry is there. And that'll do it. So 2 walks and 2 men left on base. And the score at the end of 10, the Mets nothing, the Cardinals nothing. Now here's a word from First Jersey Security. Landrum stays in the game, and he'll be in left field. Batting in the 9th position in the batting order, Cedeno, who was a pinch hitter, will bat in the 7th position and take over at first base. And the new pitcher is Ken Daly. Daly will bat in the 1st position in the batting order. He comes in the ball game
For the Cardinals,
in relief of John Tudor. He has a record of 4 wins, 3 losses, and 11 saves. He has worked 63 2/3 innings, given up 62 hits, while walking 18 and striking out a total of 58. So Ken Daly taking over for the Cardinals, and Jeff Lottie now throwing in the bullpen for the Cardinals.
And Keith Hernandez leading it off gets a rousing welcome from the remainder of this capacity crowd, as some have left here. Hernandez 1 for 3 plus a walk, as Tudor pitched 10 full innings, and it's strike 1 to Keith. Tudor pitching 10 scoreless innings, gave up 6 hits, struck out 7, and walked 3. Carter and Strawberry to follow here in the 11th inning. No score. Fouled away, and it's 0-2. Keith hit .373 for the month of September. And he asks for time. Our colleague Tim McCarver patiently standing by. Ball 1. Hoping to bring you a post-game interview. There's Gary Carter on deck. One and 2 to Hernandez. Curveball got him looking, strike 3, and Keith knew it.
Well, we'll look at it again. Keith having to face 2 tough left-handers in the ballgame today. But looking at a breaking ball, his last time up against Tudor, he swung and missed a curveball. So Daly starting off with a strikeout. Now he'll pitch to Gary Carter.
Carter got a bloop double down the right field line in the 9th inning to lead it off, but was stranded at second as Tudor struck out 2 in that inning. And he takes a ball outside. Gary is 1 for 4. Carter has driven in 57 runs in the last 57 games. Just outside. 2-0.
Daly in that Ken Obergefell trade. Coming from Atlanta.
Fastball for a strike, and it's 2-1. I think a lot of people were surprised, Ralph, when the Braves gave up on him, because they had touted him as really something, and he had been impressive.
He was Atlanta's #1 draft choice in the June 1980 draft.
The breaking ball is fouled off, so the count evens now at 2-2. The Mets have hit 36 home runs in the last 34 games, and they could use one tonight. He didn't think he swung, and I think Dutch called him out.
And right here, a fastball, and Carter thinks it's low and outside. But Dutch Renard said it was in the strike zone. So now it's Darryl Strawberry.
2 strikeouts for Ken Daly here in the 11th inning. I think Carter had a legitimate beef there, and it's a ball to Strawberry. Earlier, the Mets got a break on a called strike, but this time I'd look to be a little low and away. Strawberry is 0 for 4. And he takes a breaking ball, and it's 1-1. Ken Daly in relief of John Tudor here in the 11th with 2 out and nobody on. Oh, baby, that one is way out of here. The Mets lead it 1-0 in the 11th inning as Darryl Strawberry crushes one. Look at that bench. Ken Daly had struck out the first 2 hitters, and Darryl Strawberry just silenced this crowd.
Well, Daly throwing 1 curveball too many. And Strawberry hit it into the upper deck. This is his 28th home run this year, and that curveball just powdered out of here. Ball is up in the upper deck and coming down after hitting the facade, and the Mets lead by a score of 1-0.
Right fielder Andy Van Slyke didn't even move. George Foster, the batter, with a count of 1 strike, as Darryl continues to receive congratulations. Well, I'll bet you that lit up the city of New York. 1-1 to Foster. What a blast. Darryl has hit some long home runs in this ballpark. Of course, you have to get it out of here to begin with. But that was a monstrous shot. Foster with a base hit to right field. So a 2-out homer followed by a 2-out single. And the batter will be Howard Johnson.
Well, here it is again, the Darryl Strawberry home run. The curveball as Darryl powers it out of the ballpark. First run coming in this ball game in the top of the 11th inning with 2 men out. Daly had struck out his first 2 batters before Strawberry took it downtown.
That's Darryl's 11th home run off of a left-handed pitcher this year out of his 28. 11 have been against lefties. 2 out, Foster at first. And a ball inside to Howard Johnson. Hojo struck out his first time up after pinch running for Knight in the 7th inning. One and one.
In the bottom half of the 11th inning, when the Cardinals come up, they'll be sending up the National League's leading batter, Willie McGee, then Tommy Herr, and Darrell Porter, if Porter does bat as a left-hander, is on the mound for the Mets.
Johnson fouls it back in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. One to nothing. New York leading it here in the top of the 11th on Darryl Strawberry's tremendous home run, his 28th of the year. Fouled away, and it's still 1-2. Whitey Herzog pacing. He always looks pretty much the same. Off-speed delivery, and Porter and Daly were headed for the dugout. Cedeno, the first baseman, was almost to the first base coaching box. But no call from Dutch Rennert, and it's 2-2. Curveball grounded to Tom Herr, who will have to go to first, and does. And the inning is over. But the Mets have taken the lead on a 2-out homer by Darryl Strawberry. 2 hits in the inning and 1 big run. It's 1-0 New York. We'll go to the bottom of the 11th after this for Panasonic. As we go to the bottom of the 11th inning, Willie McGee to lead it off against Jesse Orozco. McGee is 2 for 4. An infield base hit and a single to left. He also stole a base his 55th of the year. And he's no bargain from either side of the plate, Ralph.
He's got a good batting average both ways. 357 left-handed and 351 batting for the right-hand side.
Right in there, strike 1. Tom Herr on deck, and then Darryl Porter, a left-handed batter, is scheduled up third in the inning. Strike 2 and a good fastball from Orozco. Darryl Strawberry with a 2-out home run in the top of the 11th to give the Mets a 1-0 lead. Strike 3 called. Orozco picks up his second strikeout, and a big one it is, as it keeps that rabbit off the base.
And he goes to the fastball here. McGee flinching at it, not swinging, and the Mets have the first out here in the bottom half of the 11th.
That'll bring up Tom Herr, who is 0 for 4. Tom Herr has popped out 3 times and struck out his other time up. And prior to tonight, he had been hitting New York pitching very well. That's a ball up and away.
As a right-hand batter, Tommy Herr hitting at 284 and left-handed 320.
There's Darryl Porter on deck. 1 out, nobody on, bottom of the 11th. Beautiful breaking ball, and it's 1-1. Two and 1 now. Tom Herr has hit in 116 of the Cardinals' 154 games. He has been consistent this year from day one, really.
He's hit 3 home runs batting right-handed and 5 batting left-handed. His biggest home run year ever.
That'll be out of play down the right field line, and the count evens at 2-2. 3 of his 8 home runs have been against the Mets.
And last year he had 4 home runs all season long with only 49 RBIs. Now he has 108 runs batted in for the year. Certainly to be considered as an MVP man.
He'll get a strong race, however, from the guy that hits in front of him, with McGee leading the league in hitting and in the top 10 in almost every offensive category.
And also the man that's right behind him right now, Gary Carter.
That's for sure. Carter has really come on, especially with the month he's had this past September. 3-2 now to Tom Herr. Jesse Orozco working his second inning of relief. Pitched out of a jam in the 10th after he walked Cedeno and intentionally walked Landrum. Grounded foul, and the count remains 3-2. Well, I tell you, both managers have got to be feeling the pressure. Obviously, there's more on Davy Johnson than on Whitey Herzog. But a win by the Mets tonight would shift a little bit into that other dugout, that's for sure.
Win here tonight, but cut the Cardinals' lead to 2 games. Keep the magic number at 4.
Popped up into short center field. Mookie Wilson coming on. Backman going out. Can Mookie get there? No! It's off his glove. Tommy Herr round second. Hernandez on the ball. And Herr's going to be at second with 1 out.
Mookie has a relatively easy play here. Backman is yelling, you got it, no problem there, but he didn't get it. That'll be an error charge to Mookie Wilson, and now the tying run is at second base with 1 out, and we go again to the pressure.
A 2-base error, the first by New York tonight. 1 error by each club. Carter out to talk to Orozco. And Brian Harper, a right-handed hitter, is going to pinch hit for Darrell Porter.
Harper hitting .260 for the year. He's had 7 pinch hits and 25 at-bats. And he has not driven in a run. So now the tying run at second with 1 out. And the Cardinals still alive.
Brian Harper, acquired from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Of the George Hendrick deal. Batting for Darrell Porter. Tommy Herr, the tying run for St. Louis at second with 1 out. And a strike called. Dropped fly ball in short center field has given the Cardinals life here in the bottom of the 11th. 1-1. Ivan De Jesus on deck with Andy Van Slyke, another left-handed batter, scheduled up next. Breaking ball, grounded to second. Backman to first, 2 away, and on the play, Herr moves over to third. So the tying run 90 feet away, and De Jesus, hitting at .235, will pinch hit for Van Slyke.
De Jesus has 6 hits as a pinch hitter and 1 RBI. He's been up 23 times. And the Mets are not away from picking up a victory. Tying run is at third base. Tommy Herr, the runner. And De Jesus, the batter.
2 out, bottom of the 11th, and a 1-0 New York lead. Outside at the knees.
All those benches are they're tight, I'll tell you that.
This is like a World Series atmosphere, to say the least. Breaking ball and a swing and a miss. 1-1.
Actually, the World Series not quite as important as this game is to the New York Mets, because the Mets have to get in a position to get to the World Series.
You know, a lot of teams have said that, Ralph, but getting there is far more difficult.
Ball gets away in the bullpen, so time called.
Defensively, the Mets pretty much straight away. Strawberry shallowed up in right field appropriately.
Mookie's still very deep in center field.
Yes, he is.
De Jesus is not a power hitter.
1-1 the count. 2 out, the tying run at third. Strike called on the outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Whitey Herzog looking at that last pitch, wincing, grimacing, as it were.
Now the Mets are 1 strike away from victory. Fly ball, center field. Mookie Wilson underneath it. The Mets have won it 1-0 in 11 innings. Jesse Orozco pitches 2 innings of relief to pick up his 8th victory against 6 losses after Ron Darling pitched the first outstanding 9 innings. And Ken Daly, in relief of John Tudor, who pitched 10 great innings, is the loser. Darryl Strawberry's 11th inning, 2-out home run is the difference in the ball game as the Mets pick up a full game on the Cardinals and stay alive as Whitey Herzog reacts. And in the other dugout, Ralph, a little different.
So the Mets really keep it going as they win a very important first game of this 3-game series. Keep the magic number at 4, pick up a full game on St. Louis. They are now just 2 games back, and then Dwight Gooden tomorrow.
Ralph and I will be right back to wrap it up. Tim McCarver standing by with an interview. Don't go away. We're back to Busch Stadium in St. Louis, where the Mets have won it after this from a Sunoco
field. And the Mets finally breaking that string of scoreless innings as they come up with a big run in the 11th inning. And fine pitching by both starting pitchers. Ron Darling going 9 innings for the Mets, giving up no runs on 4 hits. John Tudor going for the St. Louis Cardinals went 10 innings before he was lifted for pinch hitter. And that might have been the break of the ball game when they pinch hit for Tudor.
Boy, that had to be the break because, as you pointed out, Ralph, it had been a long time since the Mets scored a run off John Tudor. In addition to that, obviously, the whole league has had a tough time scoring runs off Tudor. His ERA will probably drop under 2 now after going 10 scoreless innings against the Mets. But Darryl Strawberry, who's had some real long blasts in this ballpark, coming through with that 2-out home run. And in addition to that, there's a trite cliche that we ought to say, you can't win them all unless you win the first one. And the Mets, in need of a sweep, have 1 leg up and 2 games to go.
And we'll go down to Tim McCarver and his special guest.
And the mastermind behind the plate tonight. I tell you, when you put zeros up there, regardless of whether you get any hits or not, you have just as much satisfaction, don't you, Gary?
Oh, you betcha, Timmy. And I thought Ronnie Darling just did an outstanding job. And Jesse Orozco come through when we needed him. You know, in that 9th inning, he had runners on first and second, and he got Jack Clark. And then again in that 9th inning, they unfortunately got a runner on base there, and he tightened his belt buckle, and he did the job again, Timmy. Boy, this was a big one for us.
Speaking of tightening your belt buckle, that's about what you were doing when Darryl hit the home run. Have you ever seen a ball hit any harder than that?
No, absolutely not. He said he was sitting on it, and I tell you, that is probably the longest home run that we have seen all year, and Darryl just some kind of smoked it. We're just happy and proud of him, and that puts us 2 out now. I love it.
What about the reaction in the dugout, too, when Darryl was coming back?
Oh, fantastic. Everybody was on the top step just grabbing him. Just can't wait to greet him and congratulate him. It was fantastic, and especially hitting it off a left-hander, Kenny Daly. And again, Johnny Tudor, another outstanding job, and came up empty-handed. But listen, we needed that one tonight.
Oh, I'm telling you, it was a most game. What about your feelings during the daytime? The most relaxed that you are is probably when you're in uniform. Is that right?
Well, sometimes it is. Fortunately, I had the opportunity of going down and seeing my kids for the off day, and then my wife Sandy and we flew up today and got in about 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I didn't have that much time to really think about it, and all I did was just come out to the ballpark, felt relaxed, and I said, let's put them on and go get them.
And it'll be another day of diversion tomorrow. Right back at them tomorrow night, right here on WOR, 8:30 game time. Gary, thank you very much. Super Bowl game.
All right, pal.
Gary Carter, one of the stars in tonight's game. That in a 1-0 ball game, you think there are no stars, but there are plenty of stars other than the pitchers. Darryl Strawberry with the big home run. And for the wrap, let's go back to the booth to Ralph and Steve.
Thanks a lot, Timmy. Our guests will receive a gift certificate from John Gerald Jewelers, where you'll find fine jewelry, watches, and diamonds. Visit John Gerald Jewelers, where the sports crowd shops. John Gerald throughout Long Island, Queens, and Brooklyn. And from Wayne Scott, young men's shirts, sweaters, knits, and sets designed to make you look good, because you never get a second shot at a first impression. Wayne Scott. Ralph?
3 hours of hard-nosed baseball, and the Mets win it by a score of 1-0 in 11 innings. New York Mets baseball has been brought to you by Michelob Light, super premium taste in a less filling beer. Who says you can't have it all? By Nissan, builders of technologically advanced cars and trucks for over 50 years. For the drivers who demand quality, the name is Nissan. By Manufacturers Hanover, the financial source worldwide. By the Good Olds Guys, your New York, New Jersey, Southern Connecticut Oldsmobile dealers. And by Garcia Vega Cigars. You can relax and enjoy a cigar anytime. Garcia Vega, still an honest cigar. Be with us again tomorrow night when the Mets take on the St. Louis Cardinals in the second game of this 3-game series at 8:30 p.m. New York time, right here on WOR-TV. Mets Baseball 85 was produced and directed by Bill Webb, Associate Director Tom Schaffery, and Ed Fergus. Promotional consideration was provided by True Value Hardware Stores and Home Centers, bringing the world beautiful music with the Sanyo multi-band, multi-voltage stereo radio cassette recorder. Mets Baseball 85 is a production of Channel 9 Sports. Production facilities arranged through Banda Communications. The announcers on the preceding telecast were approved and contracted for by Doubleday Sports Incorporated. Now this is Ralph Garner saying so long for Tim McCarver and Steve Seversky from St. Louis, Missouri.